Hello and welcome to Comerica Park. I'm Andrew Hausman alongside Jeremy Parks. We're bringing you the Clash at Comerica, a non-conference showdown between these two big rivalries. Michigan State Spartans face off with your University of Michigan Wolverines. We're broadcasting for WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. We're just about ready to get underway. First pitch should be coming to you just moments. 6:35. It will be Alex Troop on the mound, the lefty, the young lefty for the Spartans, and Jacob Cronenworth will be the first batter. Just about ready to dig in here. Jeremy, what are you looking for today?
Well, definitely two teams coming into this matchup on hot streaks for their respective sides. Michigan taking 8 of its last 11. Michigan State taking 6 of its last 8. Both teams didn't start the season off with the best of performances, so their records don't necessarily show how strong both of these sides are going to be tonight. So definitely the records are belying what a battle it will be for both sides. But again, a classic Michigan State rivalry game here at Comerica Park. It doesn't matter if it's conference or not. They're the Wolverines up against the Spartans, and it's going to be a hard-fought game out there.
Yeah, as you mentioned, not a conference game. These teams have not been scheduled in conference for the past 2 years, neither 2014 or 15. So to kind of settle things and in their first and play in their first matchup since Michigan swept the Spartans in 2013. Impressive series sweep that was led by Cole Martin, the now departed catcher, known more for his defensive abilities, but led the way at the dish as well in that series sweep 2 years ago. And this is their first matchup since then, and quite an exciting venue for both of these sides. We're just about ready to get underway. Jacob Cronenworth is digging into that left-handed batter's box, and here's the first pitch from True. Squares to bunt and pulls it back. That one misses high, 1-0. True comes set, working from the full windup. Here's the delivery. Squares to bunt again, pulls it back, but that one gets in there for a called strike. Fastball, even the count's at 1-1.
It's going to be Cronenworth, Glein, and Mazes starting off the first inning here for the Wolverines, coming into the game with the highest batting average in the Big Ten at .299.
1-1 pitch misses low, runs the count to 2-1. Weiss, the third baseman, was looking for a bunt, now takes a few steps back, count at 2-1. Here's the delivery. That one misses outside. Good hitters count here for Jacob Cronenworth.
And Alex Troop, the pitcher for the Spartans, coming in with a pretty high ERA at 4.85, but we'll see how he's able to perform today against these Michigan Wolverines.
Here's the 3-1 delivery. Swung on, ripped to right field. That one will get down for a hit. Cronenworth will get on with a single. Take a big turn and head back to first, and the first batter of the day is on for the Wolverines.
And the Wolverines and the Spartans definitely playing in deep confines here today at Comerica Park, so everybody in the outfield on both sides is going to be playing not necessarily very far in, but back, and nothing's really going to get behind anybody unless it's absolutely blazed out into the outfield. So nice single there, good rip, though, from Cronenworth.
Yeah, he knew a fastball was coming on 3-1, and it was right at the knees, right where Troop wanted to put it, but not out of the nothing that a good hitter like Cronenworth would miss. First pitch is low. That one's in the dirt, but good cover there by Ross Kelly, the freshman backstop for the Spartans. A freshman battery here today for the Spartans. They have a very interesting mix of experience and youth. Their first 6 batters in their lineup, all 5 of them seniors, and then their last 3 are all freshmen. A very interesting dynamic. Quick throw over there to keep Cronenworth honest. Cronenworth 7 of 14 on the year. A little more prolific base stealer last year than he's been so far this year. Jackson Glines in that 2-hole instead of the normal 3-hole. He'll take a strike. It evens the count at 1-1.
And a good pitch there from Troop. Just found the outside corner of the plate, painted his lines very well there. Good comeback pitch, 1-1.
Glines takes a few practice cuts. Now he'll dig back in the lefty batter's box. Troop comes set. He'll throw over. Cronenworth not taking a very big lead, but does have some speed. As I mentioned, 7 of 14 this year, stole just around 20 bases last year when Wolverines are more of a small ball team. They'll throw over again, but Cronenworth was just a few steps off the bag, and he'll get it back in easily. Travis Mazes, the third baseman today, standing on deck. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball misses up. 2-1 now.
Well, look for Troop to give Glines something all right to hit here. Potential good cut on something coming inside part of the plate.
Glines also can show a lot of patience. Already 20 walks so far in the year. On-base percentage right around 500. 2-1 is fouled off into the third base seats. They'll get up right into the club seat level. Evens the count at 2-2.
That one did come up and in. Glines just able to fight that one off back down the third baseline. But a good pitch again from Troop to get him inside.
Spartan shaded in double play depth. No outs here in the top of the first. Troop will throw over again. Cronenworth back in there standing up. None of these throwers have been even close. He did have to dive in head first, but he even then wasn't that far off the bat.
Just keeping him honest.
2-2 pitch. Wave and a miss. Bad swing there from Jackson Glines. He'll strike out for the first out of the inning for the Spartans.
Well, he didn't look comfortable from the second he took the bat off his shoulder there. A very weak little wave at an outside pitch from Jackson Glines, and I don't think he was comfortable from the second he lifted the bat up.
Very interesting. That's not something we've seen all year from Glines, but he started his swing and then knew he was going to miss that one. It was just a good breaking ball down and away. Nothing he could get his bat on. And we'll see another throw from Troop, really concerned with the running game of Jacob Cronenworth. Travis Mazes will dig in. He's been on a tear ever since he's returned from injury.
Troop going to step off of the rubber there for a minute.
Mazes hitting .387, 12 of 31 with 7 runs, 5 doubles, and 9 RBIs since returning from injury. That was in that midweek game 2 weeks ago, and he's just been scorching hot ever since. Takes the first pitch, 0-1. Troop working from the stretch. Takes a long look in. Now comes set. He'll throw over again. Cronenworth in there easily. It's already about the 5th or 6th throw over. Really trying to slow down the running game here for the Wolverines.
Keeping him as close to that first base bag as possible. He doesn't want to allow him to get any kind of an early jump here.
Checks the runner, now delivers home. That one misses high and outside. Evens count at 1-1.
See if Troop looks over to the first base side again.
I think it perhaps has something to do with what you mentioned after that leadoff hit by Cronenworth. It's such a big outfield, and Cronenworth does have some speed. He wants to keep him honest, and perhaps a single would limit him to standing at second instead of going first or third with such a big outfield. That one's lifted in the right air in the right field, that will get down, and that'll be a foul ball. Just a few feet foul. Cronenworth was looking to score, at least get to third, but nonetheless reset, and count now goes to 1-2.
The right fielder for the Spartans out there, Brandon Hughes, charged in. That one fell a good maybe 8 inches to the right of the foul line, but a good cut there for Mazes. Just pulled it a little bit too hard down that line.
Got a breaking ball to hit there, but unable to do anything with it. Count now 1-2. Here's the delivery. That one's lifted in the air to center field. And drifting under it to make the catch.
Anthony Checky out there.
There's the second out of the inning. Cronenworth will retreat to first base, and Carmen Benedetti will step in. 4 lefties to start the day for the Wolverines against the lefty Troop. Benedetti, the sophomore, he has been quite a sophomore sensation. He had a little bit of a rough start to his freshman year, started to round into form towards the end of the season, and he picked up right where he left off, hitting .346 on the year. Really impressive performance out of the infielder and occasional pitcher.
I think on that last flyout that we saw from Mazes, a product of the deep confines here again, that probably traveled about 385, 390 feet, but just plenty of room out there for the center fielder, Cheeky.
Yeah, 420 feet straightaway center here. First pitch, strike at the knees. 0-1 on Benedetti. Benedetti takes a few practice cuts. Now he's ready. Troop takes a long look in, comes set. Shrugs his shoulders and delivers. 0-1 misses outside. Evens the count, 1-1.
And this park is deep even by the standards of Major League Baseball. When the home team, the Detroit Tigers, play here, definitely not a hitter's park by MLB standards, so it's going to be difficult for anybody to carry some deep shots out here today.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if we saw any home runs. These are incredibly long fences for college ball players to try and knock out of here. Perhaps the only home run we've really seen this year that could have perhaps carried was maybe Bruder is back in that midweek game against the Toledo Rockets. 1-1 misses low. Pounds the fastball, but just misses outside and low.
And not necessarily any home runs, but even anything getting behind the outfielders, just playing at a deep level so that if anything comes that far out, it's still in front of them and there's no backtracking involved.
And that's perhaps why we see Johnny Slater in the lineup instead of Kevin White in right field. Just a much more adept outfielder out there. A lot more speed to cover the massive outfield territory out there. Next pitch gets in there, 2-2. Troop comes set. Benedetti waiting for the 2-2 delivery. 2 outs here on the top of the first, and he'll throw over. Probably about his 8th throw over to stop Jacob Cronenworth.
It'll be interesting if we see that persist throughout the game here, trying to keep every runner on first base that honest.
2-2 pitch. That's belted, and that will get down for a hit. Cronenworth will have to hold at second. But that will be a 2-out single for Kyron Benedetti, and the Wolverines keep the rally alive.
A good rip by Benedetti there, right over the head of the second baseman, Corey Young. He didn't even have room to jump up and go for it. Just a good poke into center field. And a little bit of a mishandle there from the right fielder, Brandon Hughes, but not enough to allow Cronenworth to advance to third base.
And now the junior Cody Bruder will dig in. He's in left field per usual today. Spartans will go through their defensive adjustments here. Their first right-hander batter of the game, so they'll shift. They'll play him to go the opposite way just a little bit, shaded to right center. First pitch, swing and a miss. Took a big cut there.
Definitely tried to get that one a bit of a rip. Tailed away to the outside part of the plate. Wasn't able to get any bat contact on it, but definitely looking for some big cuts here.
He'll take out, check the signs from the third base coach. Now dig back into that righty batter's box. Troop working from the stretch. Runners on first and second. Here's the delivery. Another swing and a miss. Another good fastball there by the freshman left-hander. Quickly 0-2 on Cody Bruder.
I think one of the interesting things we see right now in college baseball, it hasn't advanced from major leagues yet, where it's taking a long time between pitches here with batters being able to step out of the box. That's no longer allowed in Major League Baseball. You have to keep 1 foot in the box unless it is fouled off. So definitely a long time between pitches here.
0-2 pitch. That one's a little nubber. Troop will come over and field it, flip to first base, and that's the third out of the inning. Wolverines get 2 hits, but no more. We head to the bottom of the first. No score from Comerica Park. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
And we're going to see Evan Hill come in to pitch for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the first inning. Hill this season has only pitched 5 1/3 innings. He's been struggling with a knee injury, so he's seen limited action. Expect limited action from him again today. Maybe if he's pitching strongly, Andrew, I'd assume maybe about 4 or 5 innings of work out of Hill. But in the 5 1/3 innings of work that he has put out this season, he does have a low ERA around $1.69. Hasn't won a game, but he's played in 3 so far. Only given up 5 hits, so about a hit an inning, but still keeping that ERA relatively low. And it'll be interesting to see how he performs today just because of the limited action he's seen all season, as the Wolverines have been sort of plagued by injuries throughout.
And Evan Hill, as we mentioned in our pregame show, was expected to be one of the leaders, if not the leader on the mound for the Wolverines. But as you mentioned, that knee has really been bothering him, and he's just starting to get back on the swing of things. We most recently saw him in that Penn State series. He came in relief in that game, in relief of Jacob Cronenworth, who really got roughed up in that one. And perhaps a Coach Bakich setting a statement that Evan Hill may be on the fast track to return to the starting lineup, and where he can move Cronenworth back into that bullpen where he's been a lot more comfortable and successful in his past few years. But Cronenworth remains in the starting lineup, and Evan Hill and Keith Lehman will try and get round back into starting form by starting this game for Hill and then Lehman tomorrow back at Wilpon Complex.
I think it's nice for Hill, too, today. I think the deep confines are pitcher-friendly. He's not going to give up as many runs as he would over at Ray Fisher Stadium back in Ann Arbor. It's definitely deeper. Not going to give up long balls like you would back at Ray Fisher, and that's been a problem for all of the Wolverines pitching lately. And Hill himself has only given up 2 runs thus far this season, but again, limited action. So the deep confines of the park, we keep referring to them. They are going to play to the advantage of the pitchers today.
And that's why the Wolverines, as we mentioned in just the top of that first inning, the Wolverines with a more defensive look, Jackson Lyons and Bruder at the normal starters in center and left, but Johnny Slater getting the start, a rare start in right field in place of Kyle Jusic. Sometimes Benedetti's out there, but Slater definitely the quickest of that trio, so that's why he's out there. Cam Gibson, the first batter, holding into the lefty batter's box. Here's the delivery. Fastball misses low. 1-0 on Gibson.
Gibson coming into this game hitting .326, playing left field for the Spartans today.
Started all 33 games for the Michigan State Spartans. Here's the 1-0. There's a strike right at the knees. Fastball just about the same spot, but umpire splits it up even.
Good pitch by Hill there. Found the corner right out, down and in.
Benedetti and Mazes right on the edge of the grass. And there's a swing and a miss. Breaking ball had him fooled. He was looking for that fastball, and he just took a wave at that one.
Well, you could tell halfway through the swing, Cam Gibson realized where the ball was going and just kind of whoops and pulled the bat back a little bit. Very uncomfortable swing from Gibson there.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. And he checked his swing. Looked like he was about to get rung up, but third base umpire, ruled he did not go around. Interesting, we do not have the umpires here today. We didn't get any information on that, perhaps due to the special venue. Hill getting ready for the 2-2 pitch. Here's the delivery. He got him. Looking, and fastball got poured right in there. There's the first strikeout on the first bat of the day for Evan Hill.
Well, that's a strong start there from Evan Hill. That was one pitch low, but other than that, I believe 4 strong pitches inside, maybe a little bit up after the first 2, but just a very strong start from Hill. He looks like he's got good control as he comes out here early.
And now Ryan Krill will dig in to that lefty batter's box. Like the Wolverines, the Spartans also putting a number of lefties at the top of the lineup to go against the left-handed batter. First pitch strike right to the knees on the outside corner.
Good pitch again from Hill. He's finding all the corners here early on.
Krill, the big first baseman for the Spartans, standing at 6'4", 234 in that lefty batter's box. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Just missed a little low. Hill really pounding that fastball in there, working quickly, not showing the same deliberate pace that Troop did once runners were on base the entire inning.
Krill is a big boy coming in with a .481 slugging percentage. We'll see how big of a cut he takes there.
And he'll foul that one. That will bounce off the face of the Spartans dugout. Count goes to 1-2. Hill will get a new ball there and get ready on the mound. Krill waiting for the 1-2 pitch. Hill gets the sign. Now comes set. The 1-2 delivery just misses. He thought he had strikeout number 2.
The Wolverines fans on the third base side behind the dugout thought he did too.
I did too.
But a bit outside, according to the home plate umpire.
Hill now gets the sign from Kendall Patrick in the start today. 2-2 pitch. That one's grounded to first base. Benedetti will field that and take the play unassisted. There's the second out of the inning. Beats him out by a step and a half. 2 up, 2 down for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the first.
Wind is blowing gently in from center field. Not necessarily heavily, I would say. Just a nice, light, cool wind on a beautiful night here in downtown Detroit. And a beautiful night for baseball.
Indeed it is. Just around 60 degrees here in the bottom of the first inning. Except to cool down a little bit as the sun goes down. Now Mark Wiest will dig into that right-handed batter's box for the Spartans. Here's the delivery from Hill. That misses high and inside.
Wiest, a transfer from Spring Arbor University to Michigan State. Played some Division III baseball before coming up to the Spartans.
Now here's the 1-0 delivery from Hill. Strike in the knees. Hill doing a really good job commanding the bottom half of the strike zone so far in this first inning. Wiest takes a few waves of the bat, waiting for the 1-1. And he'll ground that one towards third base. Mays is coming over. He'll make the throw, and they'll get him. Difficult play there from Mays. He had to charge and make the play. But good job by Benedetti to close the glove on it. And they'll get him by about a step and a half. 3 up, 3 down for the Spartans. We head to the top of the second. No score. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
That was a good charge there from Mazes. And he had a little bit of time, probably got him by about a step, but a strong throw. Rocketed from the third base side across the diamond back to first, and a good snag over first base from Benedetti.
Yeah, just interesting to see Mazes still getting used to that third base. He played almost all of last year's sophomore year at shortstop, but with Jake Bivens being such a revelation there at the shortstop position, they've chose to go with Mazes at the hot corner, and he's done a very good job so far. So expect to see that that duo on the left side of the infield continue. Bivens and Mazes, pretty slick fielding. Expect them to do the trick most of the time. They can get to a lot of balls. Both have a lot of good range over there, and expect that to continue. Wolverines now will go back on the offensive side of the ball.
It's a festive theme here at Comerica Park. Despite a relatively small crowd size, Michigan State is the host this weekend. They've got a game here against the Wolverines tonight, and they play the Central Michigan Chippewas tomorrow. So they are running the show here, and it looks like a few giveaways in the stands in between innings have found their way to a group of young women who are very excited to have some free Michigan State gear.
Yeah, very sparse crowd here this evening. Probably about, we'll say, 400. Does that sound reasonable, Jeremy?
Let's see. Yeah, probably. I'd go maybe 5. It filled in a lot nicer in the start of the first inning here than it was, but again, a little bit of a drive for most people on a weeknight, but a beautiful night has brought out plenty of fans nonetheless.
Yeah, I'd say maybe about 300 Spartans, 200 Wolverines fans in attendance. Jake Bivens digs in, first pitch, swing and a miss. Got him with a high cheese there by Alex Troop.
Troop did bring the high cheese to dinner, and Bivens bit it. We'll see what he does with the count 0-1.
0-1 count. That one's fouled off down the left field line. A few young fans will give chase to that one. Quickly 0-2.
Couple keeper baseballs for some young fellas out on the left side of third base.
And unlike at Ray Fisher, they're actually allowed to keep those souvenirs. Ray Fisher, they make you give them back. 0-2 pitch. That one's in the dirt. Tries to get him to chase. No such luck.
No such luck at Alumni Field for Michigan softball as well. Also have to give foul balls back to the event staff.
Really unfortunate. That's what a lot of kids always dream of, going to baseball games, getting that foul ball. 1-2 pitch. That one's fouled off right off of the right leg of catcher Chad Ross Kelly.
Well, even Morris Fabry, my broadcasting partner for Michigan softball, does bring his mitt to the ballpark, although we are in an encased area and he cannot catch any. He's still very excited to try and jump out the window one of these days.
I'm always ready. We got the window open here today, too. 1-2 pitch is lifted high in the air. That's the center fielder Checky under it, and he'll make the catch. First out of the top of the second. Got a little bit too much under that one. Bivens did. And that'll be the first out. Easy out for Checky. Barely had to move.
Well, that was a good pitch there to hit for Bivens. And like you said, got a little bit too under. A bit of a moon ball hung up there for quite a while. But that would have been a good one to drive had he got on top of it just a little bit more.
And that will bring up the designated hitter, Kyle Jusick. He'll dig into that lefty batter's box. The senior hitting .271 on the year. First pitch, Jusick was barely ready for that one. But he gets a call at the knees, 0-1. Troop now speeding up his pace with no runners on base. 0-1 delivery. That one skips across the plate, 1-1.
It appears as though Troop has been attempting to work the lower part of the zone, hasn't really climbed the ladder that much, and hasn't really got a whole lot of response from the Wolverine hitters as far as digging at things down low.
1-1 pitch. That one's lifted high in the air. Right fielder coming over, and he will call off the second baseman, make the catch. That's Brandon Hughes. Makes the long run, but hung up in the air for a very long time. Last two Wolverines batters have both just really turned over these ones and lifted them not where they want to put them.
And I think as we see the game go on both sides, these cuts will be a little bit more productive as you get to see what's coming. It is getting to be a little bit chilly out here. Might slow the movements a little bit on these batters' arms.
Johnny Slater squares to bunt, and first pitch misses way high. Breaking ball was right around eye level for Johnny Slater, getting a rare start here for the Wolverines, his 12th start of the year. 1-0 delivery. That one's popped up again. That one will stay in the infield. Ryan Richardson underneath it, and he will record the out. Easy inning there for Alex Troop. We head to the bottom of the second. Still no score. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
We saw a couple of golf shots there from the Wolverine hitters, definitely cutting a little bit more down low and trying to pick the ball up as opposed to coming straight over it like sweeping across a table as they should be. But we'll see as the game goes on if the hitters bring those swings up a little bit more and make them a little more even. That way you get on top of the ball a little bit more, but not too on top of the ball, and just make a good solid swing as opposed to some of these huge fly pop-ups that we've seen early on.
Yeah, we've seen both pitchers so far, Troop in 2 innings of work and Hill in 1, really pounding the bottom half of that strike zone and getting what they want. These hitters have not been able to really put together anything so far on either side of the ball. Evan Hill will retake them out here for the second inning with Blaze Salter coming up, the big hitting DH for the Spartans.
Well, credit to Troop so far, the Michigan State starting pitcher, for being able to sort of slow down these Michigan bats early on. Michigan did come into this game with the highest team average in the Big Ten at 299, just on the verge of 300, and hasn't really given up much to start the game, just a couple of little base knocks into right field. And credit to him, for slowing down some hot bats. Both teams coming into this game extremely hot.
I think both teams are still trying to get their feet wet here. This is obviously a completely different atmosphere, much bigger park, not nearly as small as the friendly confines of Ray Fish. Both teams just trying to get their feet wet here, and I'm sure, just as we were remarking before the game, how it's such a great experience for us to broadcast in Comerica Park, home of our favorite Detroit Tigers. I'm sure it's the same thing for many of these local Michigan natives, still trying to get rid of the jitters playing here in the home of the Detroit Tigers. Salter takes the first pitch low.
Definitely got the goosebumps coming into the park today, walking through the halls of Comerica Park, seeing pictures of Ernie Harwell, Al Kaline, and the Tigers greats. Definitely been a great experience thus far today.
Here's the 1-0 from Hill. That one's lifted high in the air. We see more hitters just turning over these fastballs and just getting underneath them. Slater barely had to move on that one, much like Checky had barely had to move on that second of the inning for the Wolverines. Slater takes just a few steps to his left to record the first out. Salter will head back to the dugout, a little disappointed with himself. Knew he had a good pitch to hit there.
I think part of it, too, is these hits appear to be like they've gotten under them a lot more than they might appear in typical college ballparks, just because of how deep the park is. And these would be much longer shots were they to be in their own respective home parks.
Now Ryan Richardson, the shortstop, will hit a liner to center field, but that's right where Jackson Glines is. First pitch swinging. 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the second.
And again, on that at-bat from Richardson, that was a good shot to center field. That was a powerful hit right on a line.
Yeah, just about 370 feet out there.
I think in the average ballpark, that has an opportunity to get over the head of the center fielder, depending on what depth he's playing at, and possibly get down. So again, the deep confines of Comerica Park coming into play here.
Now Anthony Checky, the center fielder we just mentioned in the field for the Spartans, look at his first turn at the bat. He'll take the first pitch low and outside for ball 1.
I wonder if Checky will check his swing here.
It's only a second inning. Jeremy's already killing me with his bad punts.
And that will continue throughout the evening.
1-0 pitch from Hill. That one's grounded to first base, but he will make the play on a couple of skips. He'll make the play unassisted, and that's 3 up, 3 down for Evan Hill. We move to the top of the third inning. 0-0 is our score at the Clash at Comerica. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Jeremy Parks.
Well, it was going to be a bit of a question how Evan Hill would perform coming out today. Like we mentioned earlier, he's only pitched coming into this game for 5 1/3 innings, battling knee problems this year, as much of the Wolverines have been struggling with injuries. But so far, Hill has shown that he's got good command over both his fastball and his off-speed stuff. And he's shown a lot of control and command over the plate, and it's been very troubling for the Spartan hitters early on. And that's very encouraging if you're the Wolverines, seeing such a strong performance from Hill coming off such limited performances so far this season.
Yeah, that's what the Wolverines were looking for out of Hill this year, and perhaps what they'll get over the remainder of the year. They have those 4 Big Ten series remaining. 3 of the 4 of those are against teams in the bottom 4 of the Big Ten, and then Iowa, the team currently surprisingly leading the Big Ten, sitting at the top, I believe, at 8-1. So big home series coming up right after the Wolverines students get out of school, right at that turn of May 1st. That's a big series coming up at home for the Wolverines. But first up will be a home game tomorrow against Eastern Michigan, and then a big home game series against Purdue. Purdue sitting in last place in the Big Ten at 1-8. Wolverines really have to be expecting to sweep that series. But before that happens, they have to put some runs on the board here, try and pick up a crucial non-conference victory as they make the push for a NCAA tournament at-large berth, facing off with the Spartans, who certainly could be in contention if they continue their hot start to Big Ten play.
And like we said, both these teams have come on extremely strong as of late after some slow starts. And this is really a clash between two teams coming in after playing extremely well the last 2-3 weeks on both sides. And it's been interesting to see thus far. Not a whole lot of offensive production from either side, really been a pitcher's duel as we come down to it here.
And now the number 9 hitter, Kendall Patrick, will dig in. He'll check his swing, but that one will get in for a strike anyway. 0-1 on the first pitch from Alex Troop.
Troop was also a question coming into this game with almost a 5 ERA, but he's shown a lot of command too here early and producing a lot of getting underneath the ball from the Wolverine hitters, and we've seen a lot of pop flies.
0-1 pitch, fastball misses up, evens the count at 1-1. Here's the delivery. That one's popped high in the air. There'll be the shortstop Richardson coming underneath it. He'll make the catch about 30 feet onto the outfield grass, but he had plenty of time to get over that one. That one was high in the air. 4th consecutive pop out by the Wolverines hitters.
Again, I think some of that is the action we're seeing on some of Troop's pitches, maybe throwing off some of the Wolverine hitters, causing them to swing where they think the ball is going to be as opposed to where it winds up, and that's producing a lot of these early flyouts.
Now the lineup will turn over, and we'll see Jacob Cronenworth come to bat. He is one of the Wolverines' 2 hits so far today. Here's the first delivery. He squares to bunt, but he pulled it back. Nonetheless, that'll be called a strike.
Cronenworth showed bunt in his first at bat as well on the first 2 pitches. Definitely has the speed to get down there if he lays down a good one.
Third baseman Weiss looking for the bunt. Breaking ball gets in there quickly, 0-2, and Weiss will back up, but no longer really much of a threat from Cronenworth.
Oh, there will be no bunting here. He's in plate protection mode now.
Here's the 0-2 pitch from Troop. That one misses in the dirt. Troop hasn't done a very good job tempting the Wolverines with those 2-strike pitches. He's been trying to get them to chase, but those have been all just way over their heads or in the dirt.
Well, you also don't want to try and climb the ladder and wind up leaving something over the plate for the Wolverines, so that might be why he continues to go low.
1-2 pitches fouled straight back. Count remains 1-2.
That was a good one to hit for Cronenworth. I think he knows that he was just a little bit late on that one and pulled it back right behind home plate.
And 2 missed plays by a Michigan fan will allow a younger Michigan fan to sneak in and grab that foul ball as a souvenir. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Floater misses high. Breaking ball that Cronenworth could have done something with. You wanted to stay true to the hitter's philosophy of nose to toes. That one was right up there by his nose. He could have launched that one, but I think he would have gotten a talking to by Coach Backage for that one. So wisely let that one go by. Count even at 2-2. Here's the delivery. That one just misses low. Count runs full.
Good eye from Cronenworth there. He's worked this count, was down 0-2, and has worked it full. So good plate protection and way to work these pitches from Troop by Jacob Cronenworth.
Payoff pitch. That one's fouled up down the third base line, but that'll get out of play. Third baseman Weiss giving chase along with the catcher Ross Kelly, but that'll just get a few rows behind the normal Tigers dugout, which is now occupied by the Michigan Wolverines. Count remains full on Jacob Cronenworth. 1 out here in the top of the third. No score in the Clash of Comerica. They finally put the Wolverines' hits up on the scoreboard there. 2 first-inning hits hadn't been up there for a long time. 3-2 pitch. That one's grounded right to second base. Flip over to first. And after a good at-bat by Jacob Cronenworth, all you can get out of it is a ground out to second base for the second out of the inning.
If nothing else, you have to be pleased if you're Michigan working the pitch count on Troop after falling behind 0-2. Good enough at bat to work the count back to full and work some of those pitches, fouled a few back, worked some balls. So nonetheless, a decent at bat from Cronenworth, but you would like to see him do some more with that.
And that will now bring up the number 2 hitter, Jackson Glines. He was retired on a strikeout swing his first time up. He squares to bunt, pulls it back, and that one will miss low, running the count to 1-0.
And from here in Detroit, meanwhile, the home Detroit Tigers have just gotten underway with the Pittsburgh Pirates over at PNC Park. We'll keep you updated on that score as we continue throughout the game as well.
Second pitch, Glines checks his swing. Nasty curveball there. Nothing he could do. His knees buckled. Gets in there for a called strike, 1-1. Here's the delivery. Same pitch, but just missed a little bit inside. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that time Glines was ready.
And who said Andrew Hausman couldn't be quippy?
I believe you said that before.
I don't believe so.
2-1 delivery. Changeup misses outside. Count now 3-1. Glines will perhaps get a good pitch to hit here. Needs to focus on driving it instead of getting underneath it. 3-1 pitch. And he will flip the bat down to first base. That one misses, and he'll get on with a 2-out walk.
Good at bat from Glines there. Good eye. Got himself a base, and the Wolverines find themselves with a little something doing here with 2 out in the inning.
They'll bring up Travis Mazes, who, as we mentioned in his first at-bat in the first inning, he's been on a tear since he's returned from injury. He settled back into, moved down a little bit in the order into that third spot. Wolverines going with moving up Glines to the second spot, changing things up just a little bit. Throw it to first. Troop really loves to keep the runners close. I believe that's already his ninth pickoff attempt of the game. Did those first 8 on Jacob Cronworth when he got on with that first inning leadoff single. First pitch, that one's grounded in the hole, and that will get through. Glines heading to third. Here comes the throw, and he'll get in there. That'll be cut off by the shortstop Richardson. And a 2-out single keeps the rally alive. Mazes gets it done with a single. Moves Glines up to third base. And Wolverines threatening with runners in the corners with 2 outs.
Good one back up the middle of the diamond from Mazes, just under the glove of an extended Corey Young at second base. Able to find its way right into center field with Anthony Checky making the throw down to third, but not in time for the speed of Jackson Glines.
I thought they might have had a play there, but it was just a little too softly hit for the right fielder Hughes to get over there. So,
well, he charged in from about 3/4 depth in center field as well.
And there's a first pitch breaking ball right at the knees for a strike at Carmen Benedetti.
So I guess if there is a disadvantage to having so much room out there, there also is an advantage. Well, if there's an advantage, there's also a disadvantage on balls like that where the outfielders will need to charge in.
Swing and a miss from Carmen Benedetti, quickly 0-2. He got down quickly 0-2 his last time up before getting a 2-out single. Nonetheless, the Wolverines couldn't do anything in that first inning. Troop takes a long look in, comes set in the stretch. Here's the 0-2 delivery. That one misses outside. Tried to tempt him with a fastball, but just a little too far high and outside. Troop has sped up his pace a little bit. Just as I say that, he takes a long look in to throw off the runners, and he'll throw it to first base. Wolverines have to be wary of that fake to third, throw to first that the Wolverines are so fond of. Perhaps the Spartans will try to give the Wolverines a taste of their own medicine. Benedetti waiting for the 1-2 pitch. Troop comes set. Here's the delivery. Breaking ball misses high. Evens the count at 2-2. Wolverines threatening with a 2-out rally here. Glines on third. Mazes on first.
We're going to have a quick meeting here, it appears.
Yeah, the Spartans manager coming out to, or I believe that might be the pitching coach, excuse me. Just coming out to have a word with the young left-hander.
Just a quick mound meeting here with just the battery of Ross Kelly Troop and what appears to be the pitching coach for the Spartans.
And the home plate umpire will go out to break up that meeting. Carmen Benedetti also taking the time out of the batter's box to meet with his staff as well. Glines itching to come home from third base. Mazes also standing on first. Runners in the corners, 2 outs. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Troop gets out of the jam. Wolverines get a walk and a hit, but can do no more. And we head to the bottom of the third. 0-0 is your score from Comerica Park.
Boy, a good pitch there from Troop. Pulled the string, and a big cut from Benedetti was no good.
And he's able to get out of the jam. Brandon Hughes had a little bit of trouble there. He was jogging over to say hi to some fans out there in right field. That's where he's playing, and he just completely wiped out. I found it was little bit of comic relief. I think you missed that one, Jeremy.
I did not catch that.
He's just completely wiped out. He'll shake it off the dirt. I'm not sure if any of his teammates really noticed as they're heading off and not really paying much attention down that right field line. So perhaps it escapes a little bit of embarrassment there. Evan Hill will come back out onto the mound.
They just gave away an iPhone.
Wow. And we'll see a little bit of bickering between siblings. The one that is the lucky winner is warding off her two sisters. She does not want them getting their paws on that tree.
It appears as though technology has just found its way into the hand of some young children. What a big giveaway.
Yeah, lots of giveaways here for the Spartans. And the stands are still filling up a little bit more. Perhaps we're up to about 600, I'd say. We'll say about 350 Spartans, 250 Wolverines fans. Nowhere near the capacity of 43,000, but not to be expected in a Tuesday night in Detroit.
Well, Andrew, last time you and I were here to witness a Tigers game, we were right out in the fence in right field there for the last game of the Tigers season last year against the Orioles, finding ourselves in a wonderful standing room only position out there. But there's no bad view in this ballpark.
Definitely not. A beautiful ballpark and a beautiful night for baseball here. We're just around 7:15, and we are bringing you the bottom of the third here in the Clash from Comerica. Ross Kelly will swing and foul that one just down the third base line. Just foul. 0-1.
Hill getting back to work here after a strong couple first innings out on the bump for the Wolverines. He continues to show that he's got a pretty fantastic control considering he hasn't thrown that much.
And also considering his wild spring he had last year, really struggled with his controls, walks, wild pitches. Seems to cleaning up his act. Second pitch is grounded up the middle. Bivens will field and throw to first, get him by 2 steps. Good play there by the freshman Bivens.
Going back to Hill, that's what a lot of time in the offseason gets you. From what we're told, through a lot this past offseason, put in a lot of work outside of mandatory practice, really focused on getting his pitches back under control, and the effort is showing off here early on for the Wolverines. A little bit of a confusing moment there as Brandon Hughes came into the box.
Brandon Hughes liner to left center field, and that will get down for a base hit. He's chugging for 2, but he will retreat back to first base as Jackson Glines got to go over in a hurry. That was the Spartans' first hit of the day, and just as we were giving praise to Evan Hill, he finally allows his first hit, and we'll have to deal with a one-out base runner here in the bottom of the third. Excuse me.
Definitely a big cut there from Hughes, but credit to Jackson Glines out in center field for getting there as quickly as he did. Hughes was rounding first and was about halfway to second base before he realized that Glines got there as quickly as he did, and it did not make it through the hole and got that ball in to prevent him from taking second.
Yeah, a lot of pop on that ball, but it's kind of died on the outfield grass. Glines was able to get over and throw that one in the air to the second baseman, Eric Jacobson.
And another good pitch there from Hill, strike 1 on Corey Young.
Cronenworth in at second base today, getting a rare start at second base for the utility infielder and pitcher. Corey Young will dig in the 9th batter and second baseman for the Spartans. A little bit of an eephus pitch there from Evan Hill. Not sure what he was trying to do there.
Got a little bit of room to play, so why not play a little bit? Just first ball.
Evens the count up in 1-1. Hughes standing on first base. Not much of a base-stealing threat, but Benedetti is holding with him. He'll throw over. Perhaps just getting back in the swing of things with his pickoff move. Middle infield and double play depth. Meza standing just about a step or 2 behind the edge of the infield grass. Worry of the bunt possibility. 1-1 pitch, misses high. Fastball just a little bit above the letters.
Trying to work up in the zone there. Young not biting at it, though. And a little bit of a loosening in the zone and the control of Hill after giving up that single to Hughes.
Hill will check the runner. Now comes set. Checks the runner again. He'll throw over. Hughes not very far off first base, much like Jacob Cronenworth was not very, and Jackson Glines were not very far off first base, but that did not stop Alex Troop from throwing over numerous times.
Hill doing his best Troop impression with that throw down to first.
Both lefties eager to keep an eye on the base runners. 2-1 pitch. Strike in the outside corner.
A good pitch there from Hill. Brings him back in the count 2-2, and now he's looking at having a little bit more room to work on Corey Young.
Hughes will take his lead off first base. Benedetti holding with him there. Mazes has backed up, now with 2 strikes. Hill taking a long look into Kendall Patrick. Now he'll finally get ready to go. Shrugs his shoulders, checks the runner. Now comes home. 2-2 pitch. Just misses. I thought he was going to ring him up. That runs the count full.
Corey Young out of Rockford, Michigan, somebody that I grew up watching play baseball, currently a freshman, and was a big sensation back in the day in the Grand Rapids area playing major and minor league baseball as a youngster, and he's risen up to the ranks of Division I ball here.
Hill will throw over again.
But he finds himself with a full count now with a runner on first.
Big situation here for both squads. Spartans just got their first hit of the game. That was from Hughes. He's standing on first base. Full count to the current batter, Corey Young. Payoff pitch. That one's popped in the air, and that one will get foul and out of play onto the first base side. It takes a couple hop, skip, and a bounce, and it'll grabbed by a young Spartan who will hand it over to an even younger Spartan. Classy gesture there.
You love that. That's how kids fall in love with the game here on a beautiful night in Detroit. Bring something home and remember it.
Count remains full. Here's the 3-2 delivery. That one's grounded right up the middle. This could be 2. And that will be no play at second. Bivens will throw over to first. He fumbled that one a little bit. Had a chance for a double play, but with Hughes off on the pitch, he looked over to second, realized he's going to have no play there. Makes a smart play, takes the out, and Hughes will move up to second base.
Definitely would have been close with the turn, so a good decision to take the easy out there from Bivens.
I think he would have had it if it wasn't a full count, if Hughes hadn't been off on the pitch. And he was a little bit in front of the bag. He really had to charge that on that one too, so it would have been a difficult play, but takes the out, and now we have 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Lineup will turn back over to Cam Gibson. He struck out his first time up. He will check the runner, now deliver. That one's lifted high in the air in center field. Glines giving chase, as is Bruder. Bruder will call off Glines, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. Evan Hill gives up his first hit, but no more for the Spartans. We head to the top of the 4th inning. 0-0 is your score. From the Clash at Comerica, you're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Jeremy Parks.
This has definitely been one of the more interesting broadcasts that WCBN has ever done. Give a lot of credit to both athletic departments for setting up this pretty interesting and rather cool baseball game here at Comerica Park. Over at Michigan State, Mark Hollis making all the right decisions for the Spartans over there. He threw out the first pitch today, the ceremonial first pitch, and he continues to do big things over in East Lansing. I believe this game was agreed to back in the era of previous Michigan Athletic Director Dave Brandon. However, nonetheless, the athletic department doing a great job of getting the Wolverines down here from Ann Arbor, and it's a great night for baseball yet again.
Yeah, whether you like the commercial moves by each of these athletic departments, it's known more. The Spartans have really done a lot. Mark Hollis has done a lot with a lot of these, I guess you could say, gimmicky games, playing basketball games on aircraft carriers, playing hockey games outdoors. We also covered that outdoor hockey game between Michigan and Michigan State at Soldier Field in Chicago. So whether you like these gimmicks or not, the Spartan fan base is a little bigger fans of these than the more traditionally minded Wolverines fan base. But either way, you really got to love this matchup. Just these teams have not played in so long, and that's really unacceptable if you allow them to go 2 full years without playing. Despite this not being one of the sports that there's a huge rivalry in, these schools still have a huge shared rivalry between them, and you can't, when the Big Ten doesn't schedule these 2 schools 2 years in a row, you got to take it into your own hands and play a non-conference game, and that's exactly what the Wolverines and Spartans are doing here today. Now Cody Bruder will dig back in for the Wolverines as we get the 4th inning here underway. Alex Troop still on the mound. No early action in the bullpen from either side. Here's delivery from Troop. Squares to bunt, and that's a bad one. That'll be popped up down the third base line.
He was lucky that one got as far back as it did, leaving that one up in the air. That's bunting 101. You don't leave it popped up. Get that ball down on the ground if you're going to leave your bat hanging out there.
Yeah, really hard to do because can more often see him do that down the opposite baseline, but he did that over his head. Now he takes a big cut and misses at that one. Quickly 0-2.
And that's the thing about taking a poor first bunt. You set yourself up for failure early in the count, and now he's struggling to work his way back with an 0-2 count.
As a result, Bruder will step out, take a few practice cuts, try and regain his composure. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Quick strikeout there for Alex Wood. Not a good plate appearance from Cody Bruder, and that will not be marked as a quality at bat. That's the only stat the Wolverines measure in the bullpen in the clubhouse from Eric Backage. That will not be counted as one of those.
Definitely
Fastball
a little
just
bit
right by him.
Too eager on all three of those pitches. The bunt was poor, and then two big cuts on some pitches down and low.
Now Jake Bivens. He'll take that fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Wood is settled into a little bit of a groove here. Wood mixing up his time of deliveries to home plate. That's a rip to center field. And that will get down for a base hit. Center fielder, outfielders playing deep, as we mentioned. And there's a one-out single for the freshman Jake Bivens.
Still handled well by the center fielder for the Spartans, and Anthony Checky stayed in front of it, made sure it didn't take any odd bounces to get behind him and roll back to the 420 mark out in center field. But a good cut again has the Wolverines with something brewing here.
Yeah, not trying to do too much there, Bivens. A lot of the Wolverines just trying to really do some damage and they end up lifting up the ball a little too much. But Bivens taking what Wood gives him, and he gets on with a one-out single. Now Kyle Jusick will dig into the lefty batter's box. First pitch in the dirt, but quickly covered by Ross Kelly, and the Wolverines dugout will warn Bivens to get right back to first base.
Well, I think we've seen the Wolverines take better cuts than the Spartans thus far, but so far not able to convert any of those base hits into runs.
Perhaps an opportunity for the Wolverines here. Another throw over by Wood. Really doing all he can to keep those runners honest. Bivens, 5 of 7 on stolen base attempts on the year. Does have some speed, known more as a quick base runner and someone that can get first to third rather than a base stealing threat. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball, misses outside. 2-0 on Kyle Jusick.
Tried to work that one inside, just needed a couple more inches to catch the outside part of the plate.
Bivens standing on first. No score here in the top of the 4th. Michigan versus Michigan State baseball at Comerica Park. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Wood. That one's lifted high in the air to right field, and that one will go foul. Just barely.
Ooh, that was close. Big cut. Good rip there from Jusick.
Had a rip. He was going for that 330 mark. That one, if it had stayed fair, almost certainly that one definitely would have been a home run ball home at Ray Fish. But out here when the fence is at 330, that one probably got to about 315 or so, right about where the Ray Fisher fence is. But that one will get just foul. We'll see another throw over, but Bivens back in there, sliding head first.
Troop's favorite pitch today has been the one that goes down to first base. So it would seem with how many throwdowns he's made.
2-1 pitch. That one misses high. Ross Kelly will pop up out of his stance, just say a few words in the direction of his young left-hander. Now look over to the dugout for a few signs. Now finally settle back into his stance. Jusick digs back in, waiting for the 3-1. Looking to do some damage here. 3-1 pitch. That one's lifted high in the air to right field. But a little too much room there for Hughes, and he'll make the catch. Bivens will have to retreat to first base. Another pop out for the Wolverines would be a little deeper in a traditional college ballpark, but in such a large ballpark when it's 365 out there to left center. When you hit that one about 320 feet, it's going to just look like an easy flyout when really it is a pretty hard hit ball.
But still really good cuts from Jusick. Just a little bit too under him and enough room out there in right field for Brandon Hughes to get underneath it.
Yeah, I thought he had that one. I thought that was going to be a home run. I didn't think we were going to see them. Coming into this game, I didn't think we were going to see a home run, but I was going to get really excited for that one. But
well, if there was going to be one, it was going to find that 330 mark right under the foul pole in right field.
And perhaps another reason why the Wolverines are stacking with such a lefty-heavy lineup, obviously against the lefty is their main concern, but just trying to get maybe a pull home run out there as well. And another throw over from Alex Wood. It's got to be at least double digits.
Well, Troop has shown some really good control at throwing that ball down to first base, really getting it in there nice and solid.
Yeah, he's definitely double digits for throws over. Now he'll throw home. Breaking ball misses up. It's the first pitch to Johnny Slater, the sophomore out of Southfield, Michigan.
And Troop did remember that the plate is in front of him and not at first base, actually making a throw over the plate.
I don't think he appreciates your sass. Troop comes set. 1-0 pitch. Slater checks his swing. 2-0.
Well, were this a normal ball game, he'd be hearing a lot more sass from the 40,000 plus in the stands. Nobody's a fan of throwovers.
Yeah, the 600 fans in attendance not giving Troop any sort of trouble. Troop comes set. 2-0 pitch. There's a strike in the outside corner.
Good comeback pitch there from Troop. Slater didn't really think about taking a cut at it, finding himself up in the count. Rather take a look at a good one and get ready with the next.
2 outs here in the top of the fourth inning. 2-1 pitch. That one's grounded fouled on the first base line. Count now even at 2-2. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Jake Bivens standing on first base. Kendall Petrick, the number 9 hitter and catcher today, sitting in the undecked circle. 2-2 pitch, and we'll see another throw over instead to number 22. That's Ryan Krill, the big first baseman for the Spartans, and the first batter up next inning.
I will keep my mouth closed.
Troop comes set. 2-2 pitch. That's ripped to center field. That one will be caught on the run. Just hung it up a little bit too much. The center fielder, Anthony Checky, able to record that one. And
sort of picked that ball up, did Slater, and caught a little bit of wind and pulled it up a little bit more. Just hung too long for it to get down and find a gap. But good running and good pace from Checky to get underneath that one. That was a bit of a jog for him to get over there.
Yeah, good play from all the outfielders so far. We saw Hughes almost come over and rob that foul ball perhaps for an out, but just had to stare and watch that as it got maybe 2 rows into the seats. And we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Evan Hill returns to the mound, but we do see a Wolverine going out there to warm up. Unsure who that is, going out to warm up in the bullpen. So perhaps we're starting to see the beginning of the end for Evan Hill. He's had a solid outing so far, but as we expected, in only his second start back, probably will not get any more than 4 or 5 innings in this outing.
And we can't tell who that is due to the fact that they are still wearing warm-ups, but once we get a beat on it, we will let you know.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the giveaways continue down on the first base side from the Michigan State Athletic Department. And they're going to send a lot of fans home happy with a lot of free goodies today, including an iPhone earlier between the top and bottom of the third. A young girl found herself the brand new owner of an iPhone 6.
Lots of giveaways here by the Spartans, and a little disappointing to see as a broadcaster. The loudest fans have been all game long has been in between innings. Of course, that being said, their home Spartans and have not given them much to cheer about, as have the road Wolverines. Excuse me. Wolverines notching 4 hits, Spartans just 1, but Wolverines only did once get a runner past second base. Spartans yet to get a runner past first base. It has been, I guess you could say, a pitcher's duel so far.
Absolutely, and I think both Troop and Hill have shown some fantastic stuff. Hill really showed a lot of control early on, and he's continuing to show good control, waning a little bit here, and I think that's why we're seeing some warm-up pitching. And Troop has been able to fight through giving up 4 hits and a couple sticky situations.
Next pitch gets in there, evens the count at 1-1. Gets the change up there on the inside part of the plate. Hill standing on the hill and now delivers 1-1. That one misses high.
It's a little chin music. Just caught a little bit of the stubble on Krill's chin there.
It wasn't that close.
It was up and in.
It was over the plate.
Danced him back a little bit, we'll say.
Jeremy's used to a little closer perspective over Alumni Field. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big cut there by the big man, Ryan Krill. Evens kind of 2-2. Hill will look in, get the sign from his catcher, Kendall Patrick. Now we'll pick the ball up, get ready to go. 2-2 delivery. That one's line drive, fair ball into the right field corner. Johnny Slater giving chase. Krill rounding first, heading to second. Slater with the throw to second, and Krill will get in there. Lead off double here for the Spartans. That one ripped just fair down the right field line, and the Spartans perhaps have something going here against Evan Hill.
Big hit from the big man Krill there. Rifled just on the third base line past the extended glove of Benedetti, who was just unable to extend the body all the way and get to the ball, leaving right fielder Slater to run down the line and get it back into second base, but not before Krill could find himself with a double.
And that's why you have Johnny Slater in the game. He got over there in a hurry, able to get over that ball and almost make a play on Krill. Krill, not the speediest, to put it nicely. Really motoring and trying to get to second base. Almost got thrown out there.
Reminiscent of a Cabrera double here in the ballpark.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But nonetheless, he is standing on second base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch misses high. Mark Weiss, the third baseman here today, and standing in the number 3 hole in Jake Boss's lineup.
Boss the boss for the Spartans today, making the big calls.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's grounded up the middle. Bivens will field. He'll throw over to first, and he'll get him by a step or two. That will move the runner up to third base. Krill now standing on third base with only 1 out. Spartans have an opportunity perhaps. Do you think we'll see any small ball here out of the Spartans?
I'm not sure. You know, we saw Weiss get the job done and move it down to third, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Hill offers here, depending on how he feels with the situation, whether he wants to maybe pitch around a little bit, trying to elicit a few bad cuts from the Spartans, or if he wants to just go for it. But it'll be interesting to see what the Spartan hitters decide to do here as Salter steps in.
Yeah, I think the Wolverines might pitch around Salter a little bit. They will bring the infield in. Fastball misses inside, 1-0.
And they're playing up on the last blades of grass here on the infield, on the inside part of the infield.
They'll go through a few shifts and now take just a few steps back. Now about 2 or 3 steps off that grass.
We'll see if we see him come in as the ball leaves Hill's hand.
1-0 pitch. That one's popped in the air. Bivens retreating, and he'll make the catch right on the edge of the outfield grass. Exactly the big out Evan Hill needed. Spartans played for the hit, and they were unable to get it from their big man, Blaze Salter, and now runner at third with 2 outs.
Hill will feel a lot more comfortable pitching now as opposed to 1 batter ago, facing down the barrel of a potential sac fly at best, and was able to get the big pop out to the shortstop. Luckily, Bivens was quick enough to track back. He was already on the inside cut of grass in the infield playing very in.
They really a poor swing from Salter. You expect a little more out of a batter with a slugging percentage around 470. But unable to get the job done. That leaves it up to Ryan Richardson. He takes the first pitch on the inside half for a strike. Mays is still standing on the edge of that infield grass. The rest of the infielders have retreated. 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses outside. Evens the count at 1-1.
The lights have come on here at Comerica Park as the sun begins to go down. A little bit of an orange glow to the Comerica Park here. Beautiful view from up here in the press box for us at WCBN as we look down on a close game here.
1-1 pitch from Hill. That one's grounded to the second base, and that will get into the outfield. That will score a run for the Spartans. Big piece hit from Ryan Richardson. Found the hole in between the first baseman, Benedetti, and the second baseman, Cronenworth. And the Spartans get the first run of the day here in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, when you're not the heaviest hitter on the team, you got to find the holes, and that's exactly what Ryan Richardson did there. Got something decent enough to poke right between first and second base, and Cronenworth not able to dive over it and make the stop. So an early run for the Spartans, and Hill finds himself in trouble here.
Yeah, you can't be too disappointed. Evan Hill did your job, got the batter to ground the ball, but just not where the runners were. And now they'll get him in a rundown, and he will get into second base. Safe. I believe that was Bivens that dropped the ball. Benedetti bobbled it. They had him in a rundown. Really should have gotten Richardson there. got him picked off first base. But at that point, he just had to give all out and go down to second base. And then both Benedetti bobbled the ball at first base, and then Bivens unable to cleanly corral it. If he had held onto that ball, I think almost certainly the umpires were to call him out. He was just looking to see if Bivens grabbed that one cleanly. He was unable to do so. And now another running in scoring position with 2 outs.
A lot of that on Benedetti struggling to make the transfer from mitt to hand and couldn't get the throw down to second base in time. However, Richardson did slide past second base, but Bivens wasn't able to make the tag before his hand got back to the bag.
Now Anthony Cheeky will step in. He's had a solid defensive game, not making any spectacular plays, but doing his best to cover that expansive center field here at Comerica Park. Mays is still standing about 2 steps off that infield grass, looking for a potential bunt attempt. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Spartans lead 1-0. Evan Hill checks the runner on second, now delivers. Breaking ball just misses. I thought he had him just miss a little bit outside. Nice pitch there from Evan Hill.
He's coming in really close on all of the corners today, and he's gotten the majority of those calls, so surprising that it didn't go his way there. But he'll work his way back now with another close one.
Gets the signs from Kendall Patrick. Shrugs his shoulders, now delivers. That one's a grounder to the second baseman, Cronenworth, and he will have to, there will be no one covering, but they'll get the runner double off second base, or third base, and then a base running mistake ends the inning for the Spartans. An odd end to the inning. We'll wrap it up for you in just a second. Spartans are able to add a run, but no more. And we head to the top of the 5th. Spartans leading 1-0 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. So just to kind of run you through that play, it was Carmen Benedetti was playing a little bit in as he was holding with the he was not holding with, he was playing a little bit in, and he dove for that ball. Cronenworth was able to get over to it, make the play, but then Evan Hill did not get over to cover first base, so a crucial mistake out of the pitcher, and it looked like there was going to be runners safe at the corners on an infield single. Nonetheless, heads-up play by Jacob Cronenworth. He saw that that was
Ryan Richardson came around third base.
A huge turnaround third base, and he was able to throw back over to Mazes, who recorded the tag on Richardson, and the Wolverines get out of the inning. So they're able to escape with only 1 run after Evan Hill gives up a run and then makes a crucial fielding mistake to not get over in time to cover first base. They are still able to get out of the inning, and they only escape with a 1-0 deficit.
All right, here's the trivia question between the innings. Which former Michigan State Spartan also played for Major League Baseball Detroit Tigers?
And I'm going to go with Kirk Gibson, the 2-sport star for the Spartans, also played football for the Spartans.
It appears as though the fan has also chosen Kirk Gibson, which is the correct answer. Kirk finding his way back into the broadcasting booth for Fox Sports Detroit this season, sharing color duties with Rod Allen throughout the season, and an interesting addition to the broadcast team for the Tigers.
Kirk Gibson, also the father of Junior Cab Gibson, the leadoff hitter for these Michigan State Spartans, and also the left fielder here today. Gibson currently the manager for the Arizona Diamondbacks and was an All-American in both football and baseball, as we mentioned, at Michigan State. He played 17 years in the major leagues and won World Series titles with the Tigers in 1984, just a little bit down the road at Tiger Stadium at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. Here we are at Woodward and Brush. And then also with the Los Angeles Dodgers when he won a 1988 title with that famous pinch hit home run. So Gibson's continuing to run in the family for the Spartans. Cam Gibson settling into left field as Kendall Patrick gets ready for the first pitch. Gets in there for a strike, 0-1.
And the Tigers sign on that big scoreboard in left field is illuminated green, supposedly for the Michigan State Spartans.
Alex Troop misses high. Fastball, this a little bit out of the zone, now 1-1. Spartans are the home team, and they are soaking it up with lots of giveaways. They do have more fans here. Probably about 400 now have settled in.
Presumably.
And a hit batter, Kendall Patrick. He will take his base.
Presumably more fans for the Spartans here simply because they are going to have another game tomorrow. Probably some fans coming into town, staying the night, and catching both games. And Michigan State is the home team here today. So another bonus for the Spartans who have put this on.
And the Wolverines will get a runner on base with nobody out. Kendall Patrick standing on first base. Lineup turns back over. Jacob Cronenworth will dig back in for his third plate appearance of the day. Here's the first pitch. Grounder, and that will get through the hole into the outfield. Kendall Patrick will take a wide turn, but he will hold up at second base. And the Wolverines have something brewing here. They're looking to answer right back after the Spartans got on the scoreboard.
Cronenworth has taken good cuts in every single one of his at-bats thus far. And again, he's able to find that hole between first and second and advance to give Michigan runners on first and second. And something brewing here for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Krill was holding there with Kendall Patrick at first base, so a huge hole there. The second baseman, Young, wasn't able to get over to that one. He was shaded out a little bit up the middle in double play depth. Still nobody out here in the top of the fifth. Troop checks the runner on second, out of levers, and squares to bunt. That one will get away from Ross Kelly, but not far enough for Kendall Patrick, we won't say lead-footed, but not the fleetest of foot there on second base. And fellow catcher.
A good enough block from Ross Kelly to keep the ball close and not rolling all the way back to the backstop, and that kept him on second base.
Count 1-0. Wolverines have runners on first and second. Troop checks the runner twice. Klein squared to bunt. He'll pull it back, but take a called strike. 1-1. Starting to hear just a little bit of buzz from the crowd here. Starting to get excited. Spartans can sense the tension. They're eager to hang on to their lead. Wolverines trying to get right back into this game.
There was a big buzz last inning from the Spartan fans on the first base side after that big run.
1-1 pitch. Once again, squares to bunt, but pulls it back. Misses 2-1.
Richardson injected some life back into the Spartans fans. There was some chance of go green, go white that have faded now as the Wolverines find themselves in a favorable position.
Lions looking to perhaps even up the score, even do more. Waiting for the 2-1 pitch. He will bunt and get that down. That's a good one. Ross Kelly will field and throw down to first base. Glines does his job, gets the runners into scoring position with only one out.
Good bunt there from Glines. I thought it was going to go foul for a minute off of home plate. However, it did find its way just up the dirt path to the mound. Yeah, it's slow enough roller to get the runners to second and third.
Yeah, able to get that one right where he wanted it. Wanted to make sure there was no possible play on Kendall Patrick. As we mentioned, a little bit of a slow runner, but able to get a good jump on that one. The catcher, Ross Kelly, did glance at third base just a little bit, but never really seriously considered throwing across his body, as he is a righty thrower. Throwing across his body down at third base really would have had to have a solid margin. Now the Wolverines have runners in second and third. First pitch to Travis Mazes misses high and outside, 1-0.
Mazes has taken some good cuts as well today. A couple of hits for him. See if he can bring some runs around for the Wolverines here in the top of the fifth.
Mazes waiting for the 1-0 pitch. Troop takes a long look in. He'll throw over to second base. Able to get back in there safely.
And that was a bit of a close one there. Troop's throw down to second. A little bit more necessary than his throw down to first. Almost caught Cronenworth off guard.
And nonetheless, Ryan Richardson dropped that one anyway. So even if he had beaten him back to the bag, went to counted for an out. 1-0 pitch. That one's grounded. And that will get through the second base, off the glove. One run is in. Here comes the second, and the Wolverines have taken the lead. They are right back in it. Big hit by Travis Mazes, and the Wolverines lead 2-1 here in the top of the fifth inning.
Well, Mazes put that exactly where Ryan Richardson did for the Spartans last inning, right between first and second base. That bounced off the glove of the second baseman, Corey Young, after the dive from the big first baseman, Ryan Krill, failed to block it and sort of deflected that ball into right field, allowing two runs to come around as the right fielder Hughes was forced to charge heavily inside, and he decided not to even make a throw to home plate.
And now Ross Kelly will go out to have a word with his young lefty, perhaps rattled by the first runs of the game. Wolverines still threatening here. They have a quick base runner on first base in Travis Mazes, and their number 4 hitter, Carmen Benedetti, coming to the plate.
Do you think they run Mazes here, or do you think they let it play out?
I think they're going to let Benedetti hit and try and just move him up. You don't want to get that second out and have no base runners for Cameron Benedetti. Perhaps with 2 outs, it might change the situation a little bit. With still only 1 out, I think you want to let Cameron Benedetti hit. He'll, instead of hitting, he'll watch the first pitch go by. 1-0. Mazes also still recovering from an injury. He is 3 of 4 on the year in steals. Did steal over 20 bags a year ago. And now Troop will once again make his favorite throw over to first base. Not letting the Wolverines get any thoughts of stealing first base.
Now leave it up to the bat of Benedetti here.
Troop comes set. Here's the delivery. That one's fouled over the Tigers dugout and also the Michigan dugout. They'll take a few bounces up, and the Wolverines fan will miss it. So a Spartans fan, I believe, is able to claim it.
Back into the supremely comfortable recycled chairs of the Tiger Den behind home plate.
And that will even the count at 1-1. 1-1 pitch and fouled straight back off the boards behind home plate, waking up the fans that were falling asleep back there.
Yeah, they're spread out. There's a couple club boxes filled up here today, and a decent turnout overall for a weeknight.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses way outside. It looked like you could tell that breaking ball was coming out of his hand. He's lucky that one got as far away and low as it did, or Benedetti could have possibly done some damage. I could see it coming out of his hand. That's never a good sign when I'm 50, 60 feet up. Now Troop will make his favorite throw over to first base.
You might have seen that ball come out of his hand on the last pitch, but I saw that throw down come out of his hand yet again.
I think he's hit at least 20, if not 15, if not 20 throwdowns. 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled off again. Good piece of defensive hitting there by Benedetti. That one was over the plate and a little bit low, but not taking any chances. Benedetti fouls that one off and stays alive. Count remains 2-2. Wolverines lead 2-1 here in the top of the 5th. 2-2 pitch. Ripped up and that is through the infield. Mazes rounding second. He's digging for third. Here's the throw to third. And it'll hit off him. And he will be safe. Runners at the corners here. Big single there by Cameron Benedetti. Wolverines threatening again. Runners in the corner with only 1 out.
Gutsy call to send Mazes around second base to third, but it does work out, and the Wolverines find themselves in a favorable scoring position again. But boy, is the second baseman for the Spartans, Corey Young, struggling with some of these dives in the last couple of innings. He's probably gone for, I believe, about 4 balls through the gap there that he's been unable to secure, and he's just covered in dirt from it all.
Yeah, he's a rough – the back-to-back hits by the Wolverines. One was off the glove of Young, and then that one just missed, maybe if not 6 inches to a foot away from his glove. He's really doing a good job of getting his position to make the play, but just not making the play. And as a result, the Wolverines continue their rally here. Bruder now steps to the plate. First pitch is lifted high in the air to left field. Gibson took a step out. Now we'll take a step in. Wolverines coming home. Here's Mazes at the plate, and he will be out. Gutsy play call there, and a good throw by Gibson. He records the double play by catching the out and throwing home. And the Wolverines will take the lead, but do no more. They lead 2-1 here as we head to the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
And that was a great throw down to home plate from Cam Gibson. His father taught him well from throwing out in the yard all those years, Kurt Gibson. And he had his momentum headed with him. He took a couple steps back when he initially hit the ball and then ran it all the way down until he made the catch, and he was already moving with a lot of force towards home plate. And I think that produced a very strong throw that was right on target. And Mazes was out by a good 4 or 5 steps before he even got to the catcher.
Yeah, what do you make the move to send Mazes there?
I think they thought it was a lot deeper than it really was. I think it was misjudged by the third base coach to send him. But you could tell the second that the ball went up in the air that Mazes was ready to take off from third base. And I think Gibson knew it, and he just rifled that ball in. Perhaps they didn't think he had that strong of a throwing arm, but with all that momentum going your way, that ball came in on the fly right into the glove of Ross Kelly, the catcher.
Yeah, very good throw there by Gibson. And I think Mazes might have been fooled as we were. It did have a big pop out off the bat, and these teams are not used to playing in this sort of a big atmosphere. I think perhaps at Ray Fisher, Mazes would have known to hold up, but also Gibson did take a few steps back And I don't think the wind knocked it down. I really think he just misread it. And then he ended up taking about 3-4 steps in and ended up charging that ball, able to make the catch. And as you mentioned, used his momentum to really slingshot that one in and nab Nays at the plate to really avoid any further damage for the Spartans. Nonetheless, the Wolverines able to get on the board and get another run as well. Big hit there, and the Wolverines lead 2-1 as we get the bottom of the fifth underway with Ross Kelly, the catcher, at the plate. First pitch from Evan Hill is grounded through the left side of the infield for a hit. And Ross Kelly is able to get on base. First pitch swinging. Nothing Bivens or Mazes able to do there.
Hill took a long walk around the inside part of the infield there. Not pleased with that pitch. Left it right over the plate. And a good swing by Ross Kelly finds the hole between Bivens and Mazes. It makes its way into left field for a base hit.
Yeah, a little high there. It was trying to hit the high outside corner, but as you mentioned, left a little bit above, right over the plate and able to get on with a leadoff single here. Now Mazes will watch for Brandon Hughes, possibly laid out a bunt. He's right on the edge of the infield grass. Benedetti holding with Ross Kelly at first. Here's the first pitch. That one's popped high in the air. I believe that will stay in the infield. And Mazes will call off the catcher, Kendall Patrick. Scored the first out of the inning on a pop out just in front of home plate.
No bunt there. It was interesting. You did take a cut on the first pitch. Definitely something you question if you're the skipper boss for the Spartans as to why your player took a cut on the first pitch there. After not really seeing that many, he had a couple quick at-bats earlier in the game as well.
And now Corey Young, who's been struggling in the field, as we mentioned in the top of this inning, he'll get his turn at the plate. Take the first pitch for a strike right at the belt. 0-1.
Well, there's no bigger sign of effort in baseball than coming back to the dugout with a jersey covered in dirt, and that's exactly what Corey Young's got. His whole front side is pasted with dirt from quite a few dives at second base today.
Still only one out here for the Spartans. Leadoff runner reach, and he's over at first base. He draws a throw. That's Ross Kelly sliding there head first, but he gets in there safe. Evan Hill on the mound. Another pitcher warming up for the Wolverines. Unsure exactly who that is. Hard to see out into that bullpen way out in left field.
We couldn't see earlier. He's been there for quite a while, though. He went back there in between the top and bottom of the fourth.
I think it might be Matt Ogden, but don't quote me on that one. Really hard to tell. Maybe number 37. Difficult to tell.
Spartans also have some people warming up out in their bullpen, it appears.
1-1 pitch. Now we'll see a throw over again to Ross Kelly. Ross Kelly, a catcher, not the fleetest of foot. I can tell you from my experience as a catcher, we are not the fleetest of foot. I was not known for my base stealing abilities, but if it did ever get away from the catcher, I was ready to go.
Maybe not down on the field, but you're graceful as a butterfly up here in the booth house.
Why, thanks, Jeremy. And the third pitch from Evan Hill will miss outside. Count goes to 2-1.
We got to build you up before I tear you down.
Ross Kelly takes his lead off first base. One out here in the bottom of the fifth. Spartans looking to answer the Wolverines after they answered their fourth inning run with two of their own. 2-1 pitch. That one's fouled off down the first base line. Number of fans giving chase. And a fan in I believe in a fur coat. No, it'll be a small kid able to get that one, but a fan very bundled up, really content just to let that one bounce right in front of her and allow the young Spartan fan to grab that one.
It is getting a little bit colder out here. The temperature has dropped a bit. The wind is kicking in as the sun goes down.
Still no excuse for a heavy coat like that one. It's 59 degrees. It's a beautiful day.
You have no idea where that fan is from. House? Maybe not used to these frigid April temperatures.
2-2 pitch. That one bounced up the home plate. Good block there by Kendall Patrick. Keeps in front of him. Count runs full. Ross Kelly, I could tell he wasn't going anywhere. He was, by the time that one bounced away, he was standing on first base.
Well, he's a catcher, and he's a catcher-minded runner as well. He knew exactly what was going down there. So he keeps his feet close to the bag at first.
And a big pitch here for Evan Hill. He's run the count full on Corey Young, the number 9 batter. Hill shrugs his shoulder, now delivers. Payoff pitch. That one's a chopper down the third base side. Mazes fields, throws over to first, and he is able to not make the play. Young able to get in there. I thought he had it, but Benedetti was off the bag. Very difficult play Mays is just unable to use his arm strength. He was right on the third base line. Would have been a very difficult play, especially with a speedy runner like Corey Young motoring down that line. He was all the way on the edge of the outfield, right on the outfield grass as he planted and tried to make that. Also slid a little bit onto that right foot. Really had no chance of making a play there.
Talk about a throw across the diamond. It was awkward and uncomfortable for him at the start because it came into his barehanded side down the third base line. Had to snip it up with the glove and then make the one-hopper throw to first and just about a foot or two off the bag there, but a good effort nonetheless from Mazes.
Runners at first and second for the number one hitter, Cam Gibson, the defensive star of the last inning, able to make a dazzling throw from left field to nab Travis Mazes coming home. Travis Mazes unable to make a dazzling throw over to nab Corey Young, and now the Spartans are threatening here. Wolverines in double play depth in the middle infield. Mazes standing right on the edge of the infield grass looking for a possible bunt. Evan Hill will check the runner at second base. He's dancing around a little bit. Now Evan Hill will step off the rubber, look Ross Kelly back to second base, and actually go over and kind of, trying to intimidate him. He took about 3 or 4 powerful steps down to Ross Kelly at second base. Unsure what he was trying to do there.
I don't think it takes a whole lot of intimidation to convince Ross Kelly he shouldn't try and steal third here.
Nonetheless, dancing around, trying to get in the head of Evan Hill. I believe he has. Just needs to focus on getting the batter here. Now, I think it will be Gibson that calls time. He'll step out of the bag. He's done with Evan Hill's theatrics. Now he'll dig back in, get ready.
Some good theatrics from Bivens at short, too, dancing around and convincing Ross Kelly that something might be coming behind him.
0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. What a good breaking ball. Had him full on a breaking ball in the dirt.
Bit of a ghost there. Didn't even see it coming, did Cam Gibson. Took a big cut at it nonetheless, but boy, was he off.
Now Evan Hill has some room to work. It would be a big strike, looking for a big strikeout here, or perhaps a grounder for a potential double play ball. Wolverines will make a few defensive adjustments in the outfield. Shift Gibson to go the opposite way with 2 strikes. 0-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. That's a definition of defensive hitting there. Just kind of stuck his bat out over the home plate. Live to see another day.
Very uncomfortable little poke at it there, but nonetheless, he stays alive. Count's still 0-2, though, so he's going to be battling hard here.
Evan Hill taking a long look in. Gibson will take an interesting stance. Now comes set. Has a very deep squat in that lefty batter's box.
The Jedi Knight form.
0-2 pitch. That one bounced up to home plate, and that will get it away. And the Spartans runners will move up. Evan Hill disappointed with himself. That one will likely be ruled a wild pitch. Not much Kendall Patrick could do with that one. And now the Spartans have runners at second and third base with only 1 out.
Yeah, just a poor pitch there from Hill. Again, not a whole lot that Patrick could do. Blocked it as well as he possibly could and deflected it off to the right, hoping to maybe get it close enough that he could throw down comfortably in a good position to third base. But Ross Kelly able to get down there, and nice little scamper from him.
Takes away the potential double play ball. Evan Hill now looking for a big strikeout. Shrugs his shoulders. Now delivers. 1-2 pitch. Just misses outside. Thought he had the fastball there, but just a little bit down and away.
Hill still has room to work. Can go for a good strikeout pitch with the next couple. Still got a little bit to play with.
Count now 2-2.
Gibson hasn't been taking the most comfortable of swings this at bat. He's back in his Mace Windu form there.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And then he'll have to throw down to first base to record the strikeout. Patrick dropped that one, but a big strikeout from Evan Hill.
Evan Hill doing his best Chancellor Palpatine there and just taking the Mace Windu form out of Cam Gibson there. That definitely was an interesting stance in the box. But none of those cuts look comfortable from him, that whole at bat.
And second strikeout of the day for Cam Gibson. That will leave it up to Ryan Krill, the big first baseman. He's got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs, looking to perhaps re-give the Spartans the lead after they fell behind 2-1 on that big hit by the Wolverines last inning. Evan Hill comes set, shrugs his shoulders, and delivers. That one's ripped to right field, and that one will get down for a base hit. That will get 2 runs in, and the Spartans retake the lead. Krill motoring for second, and he will get in there standing with a double. Big 2-out hit for Ryan Krill. And just like that, the Spartans answer right back. They lead 3-2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Krill's proven to have a lot of power out here today. Ripped that one down the first baseline. Rolled all the way back to the 330 mark out in right field underneath the foul pole before Slater could actually get to it. Rifled it back in quickly enough, though, so that Krill did not round second and head for third. But again, 2-run double there from Krill. Gives the Spartans an important 1-run lead.
And 2 doubles by Krill in his last 2 plate appearances. He's just taken right what Evan Hill has given him and ripped it down the right field line both times. He's a left-handed batter, and he's done a good job pulling those. Johnny Slater's had no chance on either of those balls. He just Carmen Benedetti just putting it exactly where he's wanted it. And now Kendall Patrick will go out and have a word, try and settle down the junior left-hander.
And I guess you wonder how much longer the Wolverines and Coach Bakich decide to leave Hill in here, just because of the fact that he has not pitched a lot, that we weren't expecting him to throw more than 5 innings. So we'll see if they stick with him here to close it out.
2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Chance of go green, go white, starting to ring out here in Comerica Park.
Krill's put the life back into the Spartan fans down on the first base side after giving them the big 1-run lead with that 2-run double.
Now Mark Weiss still has a runner in scoring position. First pitch, just a little bit inside. Breaking ball on the inside corner. Still unsure who is warming up in that Wolverines bullpen. Possibly Matt Ogden. Try and get you an update as soon as we can. The pitch is lifted in the air to left field. Brewer took a few steps back. Now he'll come in and record the out, and the Wolverines will get out of it. But they give up a big 2-out, 2-run double by Ryan Krill, and he gives the Spartans the lead 3-2. That's what the score is. Heading to the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
And I wouldn't expect to see Evan Hill come back in the bottom of the frame again for the Wolverines here. He's definitely put in a good afternoon of work. He's pitched more in this game than he has all season, but a strong performance from Hill regardless of giving up 3 runs. I think he showed that his command is doing all right. Left a few over the plate, but again, I think for by and large, he's doing fairly well.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing. For getting those 5 innings in and only allowing 3 runs, he'll be a little disappointed with himself giving up that last big hit to Ryan Krill, leaving that fastball right over the plate. Nonetheless, a solid outing as he looks to get back into Big Ten form for this stretch run for the Michigan Wolverines.
And the big cheers that you hear coming from the crowd in between innings here. Yet another giveaway from the Michigan State Spartans, this time opting for Chili's gift cards. Bring it on in for Chili's baby back ribs, it seems like. But the giveaways continue, and the festive mood has bellowed within the Spartan stands down the first base side after that big inning. Gives them a 1-run lead over the Wolverines.
And it will be Alex Troop returning to the mound, I believe. A new pitcher for the Spartans, excuse me.
It's 31, not 32.
Yeah, had a mistake there. And it will be a new pitcher.
Joe Mockbee.
Joe Mockbee. Jeremy, what can you tell us about Mockbee coming into this game, top of the 6th inning, trying to protect it? Now, it was perhaps looking to just keep the deficit small, but now protecting a lead suddenly for the Spartans. What is he going to be looking to do here?
An interesting decision from Skipper Boss for the Spartans. They're going to have a game tomorrow, but they're going to throw their best arm that they have out there right now. Mockbee this season is 4-2. He's under 2. His ERA is at 1.64 in 14 appearances this season. He's pitched 33 innings and giving up less than a hit an inning, less than a run every 3 innings, and basically the best arm in the Spartan arsenal so far this season in terms of runs he's given up, overall pitching quality. Mockbee has been really the star of the staff, and a staff that's been relatively healthy as well. So that's not to knock back anything that Mockbee has done. He's really proven to be the cream of the crop. So we'll see what the Wolverine hitters can do against him here.
Yeah, he's definitely been their best relief pitcher. Kind of surprised he's coming in this early in the game. But nonetheless, he'll get an opportunity here to try and shut down the Wolverines. Interesting note that the Spartans only have 1 save recorded on the year, That's from Jeff Kinley.
Most of their wins and or losses coming by a large enough margin to not require the save notion.
And that one's lifted to left field, but got a little too much under it. Jake Bivens, the first out of the 6th inning. Wolverines looking to answer right back. They were able to do that last inning after the Spartans got a single run in the 4th. Wolverines answered right back with 2 runs before Ryan Krill, the big first baseman for the Spartans, had that big 2-out double down the first base line. Able to knock in 2, and the Spartans lead 3-2. We're in the top of the 6th inning with 1 out. Kyle Jusick steps to the dish. He'll dig into the lefty batter's box. Here's the delivery. That one misses low and outside.
And the sun has now completely disappeared from the skyline. The lights are shining brightly down on the field, and it's a big-time field for some big-time players out there today.
Mockbee misses high. Count goes to 2-0. Well, Spartans opting to keep another lefty on the mound against this lefty-heavy Wolverines lineup. 2-0 pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Able to get the changeup in there. Count goes to 2-1.
Good pitch there from Troop. Brings him back into the count after being down 2-0.
In his last plate appearance, Kyle Jusick had a rip to right field and went just foul. Now he'll take that 4th pitch high. Goes to 3-1. Good hitters count here.
We'll see if they give Jusick the green light to swing here.
I would fully expect it with 3-1. He'll dig back right in and be looking for a pitch hit here. 3-1. That one's fouled off. Had a pitch hit there, but got underneath it. That one will go over the third base dugout and be claimed by a happy fan. Count runs full.
We've seen that a few times today from the Wolverine hitters, working themselves into comfortable hitters' counts and then spoiling off good hitting pitches.
3-2 pitch, right back up the middle. That one deflects off the pitcher's glove. Shortstop will come over and field it, and he'll make the play. Good job by there, Richardson, to stick with the play. That came off of Mockbee's glove, but just deflected just a little bit. That really didn't change the path. It was still right where Richardson was heading. He able to field that, flip it over to Krill, and record the second out of the inning.
Mockbee showing his stuff early here, not giving the Wolverines much, really showing why he is the star of this pitching staff, even though we're only 2 outs into his tenure in this game.
Yeah, you're really giving Mockbee a lot of love here, Jeremy.
Well, he's got the stat line to prove it, you know.
And the first pitch by Slater is grounded right to the second baseman. Young will make the flip over to first base, and that will be an easy inning for Mockbee. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Spartans lead 3-2.
And as long as Mockbee pitches like that, I'll continue to give him all the love all day. That's just good pitching out there.
And we will head to the bottom of the 6th. Perhaps a new pitcher for the Wolverines, and indeed it will be. We'll get the word in just a few moments. Trying to keep the deficit at just 1. Wolverines trail 3-2. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausen alongside Jeremy Parks. We're here at the Clash at Comerica Park. Michigan State Spartans taking on the Michigan Wolverines in a big non-conference matchup.
It really has been a clash so far as well. A quiet game to begin, but then once the bottom of the 4th came around, it started to become a lot more exciting, and both teams trading blows with one another. Michigan State took a 1-0 lead, and the Wolverines came back with 2 runs in the top of the 5th, and then in the bottom half of that frame, the Spartans came back with a big 2-run double from Ryan Krill to take a 3-2 lead, and that's where we stand now headed into the bottom of the 6th. But really, yeah, it has lived up to the hype as far as I'm concerned, and has really offered as advertised, I guess, for 2 very hot sides again. We keep mentioning how hot they have been coming in and really showing why. Good bats, good pitching. It's been an all-around solid baseball game to watch here.
And now Matt Ogden will come into pitch. I'll give myself a little credit as I did correctly identify him way out there in the bullpen. That's who I was perhaps expecting to come in. Matt Ogden, the 6'3", 200-pounder redshirt junior from Aurora, Colorado, out of Smoky Hill High School. In his most recent appearance, we saw him against Penn State on that Sunday finale, able to get inning and a third, only 2 hits, but no runs allowed, 2 Ks on that appearance. So good performance from Matt Ogden in that weekend series against the Penn State Indian Lions. Wolverines able to take 2 out of 3 after getting crushed in that first game. So good bounce back by the Wolverines, and Ogden played a part in that. What are you looking for from Ogden here today?
I think as far as Ogden's concerned, it's keeping it at a minimum, allowing his hitters the opportunity to get their team back into this game. He's got to keep the ball off of the plate, work the corners as well as Hill did early on today, and not allow himself to leave any pitches over the plate, because the Spartans have proven that their bats are here to stay today, and they're showing why they are as hot as they are right now, winning 6 of their last 8 coming in this game. So if you're Ogden, just stay focused, keep the ball out to the outside edges of the zone and sort of work it, and maybe work a few bad swings in between with some tempting high stuff or maybe some things a little bit down low. But again, main concern is just keep it at a 1-run deficit.
Ogden 2-1 in the year with a 3.54 ERA. He's made 8 appearances out of the bullpen and 2 starts. Those were both when the Wolverines were really on the mend, Lehman and Hill not starting. So Ogden stepped up when the bell called. First pitch, Salter able to check his swing in time. Patrick makes the appeal down to first base. The first base umpire rules that he did not go around. Account goes to 1-0. Ogden comes set. Now here's the delivery to Salter. Swing and a miss. Big cut, as you mentioned. Keep the ball off the plate. Had him fooled with a changeup there.
Good pitch from Ogden, and that's what you want to see him do coming into this game in relief. That's his whole job right now, is just keep the ball off the plate and get yourself to the offensive half of the frames.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Another swing and a miss.
And he does it again. You keep the ball off the plate. You work some poor pitches. That one was clearly a good foot or so off the outside part of the plate and still took a swing from Salter.
Salter does have some place discipline. 10 walks in the year. 1-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Just able to get a piece of it to stay alive. Count remains 1-2. Everything will reset. Salter will step out, take a few practice cuts, take a few digs with that right foot, and dig back in the righty batter's box. Ogden comes set. Here's the 1-2 delivery.
Check
swing, and he did not go around.
That was a close one. We had a good view there. It was about as close as it gets as far as check swings are concerned.
I thought he held up, and that was indeed the ruling. Count now even at 2-2. Ogden takes a look in. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Just misses outside. Almost in with a breaking ball. Count goes full.
And I think although the count is full, again, Ogden's really working every edge of the plate. Doing a job well done.
Gets ready for the payoff pitch. Here it comes. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Bad cut there by Blaze Salter. He just swung and missed the high cheese. Matt Ogden gets the big man to go down in his first batter faced of the game. What a great pitch. Interesting decision to leave the breaking ball that high when a batter with as much strength as Blaze Salter gets a read on that one. He can do some damage, but Ogden had him crossed up. First pitch from Richardson is fouled off.
Richardson had that good at bat back in the bottom of the 4th that gave the Spartans a 1-run lead with a good poke between first and second, notching the first run of the game for either side.
Here he is with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Spartans lead 3-2. Mays retreating. Had been in for a possible bunt, and now he gets hit. Ogden nailed him right on the left arm.
I think Ogden wanted that one to have a little bit more action to the outside part of the plate, but it didn't really make any turn, and that left Richardson right there to get plunked, and he'll take his base.
Now stepping in will be the center fielder, Anthony Checky, putting in that lefty batter's box. Richardson takes his lead off first base. 6 of 9 in steal attempts in the year. He does have some speed. We'll see if Ogden throws over to keep him honest. Delivers at home. Possible bunt attempt, but pulled back by Checky. Nonetheless, that gets in there for a strike. 0-1. Checky does have very good speed. 11 of 15 on steal attempts in the year. Has done a It's a very solid job manning center field for the Spartans here today. Mays is standing right on the edge of that infield grass for a possible bunt attempt. 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled off. He was crossed up there. Just kind of hit off his back foot. Quickly 0-2 on Checky.
He'll be protecting the plate now, and Ogden's got a little bit of room to work. Get it around on some of the corners and draw some of those bad swings we saw early on in the inning.
Ogden takes a look in. Working from the stretch with the runner on first. He'll throw over. Able to get back there in time is Ryan Richardson. Had to go in with a head-first slide. Carmen Benedetti holding with him. Now with 2 strikes, Mazes will retreat back to normal depth at third base. Checky takes a few practice cuts. Now he's ready. Waiting for the 0-2 pitch. Here comes the delivery from Ogden. Waits an extra beat and how to throw over.
Well, you know when he's taking that much time to consider what he's doing, he's probably going to make a throw down over to first.
As you mentioned, Richardson, somewhat of a base stealing threat, 6 of 9 on the year. Does have good speed. Ogden comes set. He delivers home. 0-2 pitch. That one's just a little chopper out to, a chopped fly ball. Just kind of stuck his bat out there and able to get the metal on it, but that one's just floated up there to Jackson Kleins. He's under there to make the out for the second out of the inning. 2 outs for the Spartans here in the bottom of the 6th. Now up the catcher, Ross Kelly. And Kendall Patrick, the Wolverines catcher, will go and have a few words with his pitcher, Matt Ogden.
A little battery meeting here.
Unsure what they're discussing here.
Maybe a few words of pitch and catch, plan out the first couple pitches of the at-bat. Maybe they have a good beat on what he likes to do, and they'll see if they can get Ross Kelly to maybe take a bite at something outside or low.
Yeah, 3 unexperienced batters coming up. The first 6 batters in the Spartans lineup, as we mentioned, have combined for over 20 letters for the Spartans baseball team. But nonetheless, these last 3 batters, all freshmen. So an interesting contrast of experience and youth between the top 2/3 and bottom third of this lineup. Chad Ross Kelly, the redshirt freshman out of Macomb, Michigan, just down the road from here. Waiting for the first pitch. Here it comes. Fastball misses outside. 1-0.
Definitely trying to get him to bite on the outside stuff there, but Ross Kelly holding.
Ogden takes a long look in. Now he comes set. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Changeup ripped fouled on the third base line.
And a good pitch there from Ogden. Ross Kelly able to fight that one off back down the third baseline.
Yeah, Ross Kelly got ahead of that one, perhaps was looking fastball, was not looking for the breaking ball there. Count even at 1-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of 6th. Spartans lead 3-2. Throw over to first base. And once again, Richardson able to slide back in safely.
He's definitely also sticking very close to first base, but taking a little bit of a secondary lead.
Benedetti holding with him. Wolverines straight up average depth in the outfield. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's popped up, and then will just get over the screen. Looked like Patrick might have a shot at that one, but that one will get over the screen. And the scoreboard says 1-1. I believe the count is now 1-2. I think that's his second foul ball of the plate appearance.
That was. He did previously foul that other one back down the third base line.
And that's what the umpire will make the clarification. It is 1-2. He'll have a few words with Kendall Patrick, and the scoreboard operator will get it fixed. 1-2 count here for Ross Kelly. Ogden on the mound. He delivers. 1-2 pitch. That one's way high. Patrick had to come out of his crouch to stop that one.
Ross Kelly definitely not tempted by the high stuff up above his helmet almost.
Nose to toes. That's what they tell you. That was above his nose.
Yeah. Just by a little.
2-2 pitch from Ogden. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout from Matt Ogden. And Matt Ogden able to come out of the pen and shut down the Spartans. One better gets on base, but that is it. We head to the top of the 7th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Wolverines trail 3-2.
Well, we talked about what the important thing would be for Matt Ogden to do, and we said just keep it close and give the bats an opportunity to keep you in the game and get you back into the game, and that's exactly what he did there. Did plunk Richardson, but aside from that, a strong first half inning of work there from Matt Ogden.
And we'll see if Mockbee retakes the mound, and he will for the Spartans. The experienced left-hander will get another run of things here as the Spartans look to shorten the game and maintain their lead. Jeremy, what can the Wolverines do to really heat their bats back up? They've been hot, but they've just not really gotten it together. Only 2 runs so far on 7 hits this game. What can they do here to try and get back into this game, retake the lead?
Well, we've seen some poor cuts, definitely. I think we've mentioned it a little bit. The Wolverines have worked themselves into some good hitters' counts and then have just spoiled off some very good pitches to hit. Whether that was early on in the game, they were getting underneath the ball a lot of golf kind of swing, picking the ball up and just popping it out into center field. And that wasn't really getting it done. And now more recently, we've seen them kind of get on top of the ball a little bit too much. So it's got to be a happy medium for the Wolverines hitters. They got to meet the ball evenly and make solid contact. We've seen a few, but even the base hits that have found their way through the holes have been just weak choppers that were just positioned correctly. So we haven't seen really as strong a contact from Wolverines hitters as we have from Spartans hitters, but they have produced more hits. It's just been a matter of finding the hole for them. So again, just meet the ball evenly. Good things will happen.
And the first batter of this inning will be Kendall Patrick, the number 9 hitter and catcher.
Patrick's been doing a good job on the defensive half of the catcher job today, blocking a lot of stuff down low, really handling himself well in the defensive position as he splits a lot of time with apologize, I lost my train of thought.
Lugbauer. That's
Lugbauer. Completely lost what I was saying there. Happens to the best of us. But he does split time with Lugbauer, and he's proven to be very strong on the defensive end today.
And first pitch is ripped right back up the middle. It's a very solid piece of hitting there. Exactly what the Dr. Jeremy Parks ordered, telling the Wolverines not to get too far under the ball and loft the ball as they've been doing in the first half of the game or chop it on the ground. Just a solid piece of hitting right back up the middle by Kendall Patrick. That's what you're looking for, and that's what perhaps wins Kendall Patrick a little more playing time here. He has been getting a little more playing time than Lugbauer, but he's known more of a as a defensive player and then produces at the plate occasionally. Very solid piece of hitting there, and he's able to get the first runner on base for the Wolverines. Lineup turns back over to Jacob Cronenworth. First pitch, that one misses. 1-0.
And Cronenworth today has taken probably, in my opinion, the best cuts out of the Wolverine hitters. He's met the ball evenly like we've discussed. He hasn't really gotten under too many. He's found some good holes, but still not really chopping them, and just a good offensive day for Cronenworth. He shows bunt again, and that's going to be down in the dirt and blocked by Ross Kelly for ball 2.
Cronenworth will step out, take a few practice cuts. Mockbee taking a long look in from his catcher, Ross Kelly. Checks the runner, now delivers. Just kind of slung it in there for a strike. Didn't really use much body movement on that one and just kind of used his arm to power through that one.
But nonetheless, an effective pitch there. Caught Cronenworth off guard, and he didn't lift the bat off his shoulder, but a good comeback pitch to keep the count 2-1.
Mockbee checks the runner, now he'll throw over. Patrick able to slide head first back in safely. Count remains 2-1.
The throwovers continue today.
Yeah, that has been perhaps the most common play of the day here. So it seems. 2-1, squares to bunt. That's a good one. And Mockbee has no other choice but to throw down to first.
Good job by Cronenworth. Got a good bunt down the first base line. Did exactly what he needed to do there to advance Patrick to second base. And the Wolverines now with a man in scoring position and 1 out.
That's exactly what you're looking for. You have arguably the most dangerous hitter in this lineup coming up next. Jackson Glines hitting .377 coming into this game. Slugging percentage right around 500 and on base percentage right around 500. And a really impressive job this year by Jackson Glines. He's still looking for a big hit here today. Takes the first pitch for a strike at the knees. Wasn't able to do much with that one. Interesting note that I've been watching all game. Ross Kelly really lofts that ball back, returning the ball to the Spartans pitchers. Perhaps he's had some issues in the past with firing it back and getting away from Spartans pitchers with runners on base. So really lobs it back out there. Swing and a miss there by Jackson Glines. He was really crossed up by that curveball.
And going back to the loft from Ross Kelly, it could be a matter of the ball getting away, or it could also be a matter of him just not wanting to get his arm too tired, because keep in mind he also has to hit. But nonetheless, does take a lot of velocity off of that when he throws it back to the mound.
0-2 pitch. Misses outside. Glines happy to watch that one go by. Missed by just a hair on the outside corner.
Good pitch from Mockbee there. Definitely could have warranted a swing from Glines, but Glines with the good eye and noticing it's outside.
Kendall Patrick on second base, itching to come home and tie this game. He's checked by Mockbee. 1-2 pitch. That one's chopped right back up the middle. That moved Patrick over to third. And that one be bobbled. An error will allow Jackson Glines to reach. Crucial play there. Corey Young has had a rough day in the field. That one, he just could not get the ball out of his glove. Runners at the corners, and the Wolverines starting to threaten here in the top of the seventh.
Well, defensive miscue leaves the Wolverines with a solid scoring opportunity here. The last time they had a man on third with 1 out, it was a big fly ball into left field that was gathered by Cam Gibson with a strong throw back to the plate to throw out Mazes, who was coming home from third. So we'll see if the Wolverines keep it away from Gibson on this at bat.
And speaking of Mazes, he's the one at the dish right now. Ross Kelly will step out in front of home plate and run through the signs with Mockbee before we'll see time called, and the pitching coach for the Spartans will come out and have a word with his veteran lefty. There is a pitcher warming up in the Spartans bullpen. Unsure exactly who that is. Also, 2 pitchers warming up for the Wolverines, just trying to get loosened up. But we will hear some cheers of go green, go white, ringing up in what is a de facto home game for these Spartans. They're hosting this game as well as the Central Michigan Chippewas tomorrow. Wolverines return to action tomorrow as well, back in their home friendly confines of Ray Fisher Stadium at the Wilpon Complex. I'll be on that broadcast alongside Eli Sherman. You can tune into that game at 4 p.m. right here on our YouTube channel broadcast. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Then Michigan's going to have that big 3-game series against Purdue at the Ray Fisher Stadium this weekend.
Also, all games will be covered by WCBN Sports.
Meanwhile, across the yard, I will be covering softball as they play a 3-game series Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Indiana as they continue their
right
hunt.
Up the middle, steps on second, relay to first, and they got him. Big play there by the Spartans. Disappointing by the Wolverines. They had a chance to tie this game up. Travis Maces grounds into a crucial double play on his first pitch. Cannot be happy with that.
And they got Mazes by about half a step there. That was pretty darn close. And he needed to keep the ball off the ground there and just wasn't able to do it. And that's going to end the scoring threat for the Wolverines as we head to the bottom of the 7th now.
And Corey Young, right after he made that crucial error that allowed, Glines to reach, then a very disappointing or a very good play there to step on second base, relay over to first. And once again, a double play involving Mazes ends the Wolverines scoring threat. And we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, as Jeremy mentioned.
Well, before we head to the bottom of the 7th, you always got to have the middle of the 7th. And what's better in the middle of the 7th than an old rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game?
We're going to spare our listeners the painful rendition by Jeremy Parks and myself. So we'll continue to break down what happened, and we'll see a new pitcher here for the Wolverines.
Now, see, Andrew Hausman is no fun. Broadcasting with Morris Fowry, we would have sung this to a T.
Well, you can do that as you get back into action, as you're mentioning, in Michigan softball. And we will see, that'll be, I believe, Carmen Benedetti will step on the mound. I think that's who that is, the sophomore lefty. And Kyle Jusic will shift from DH over to that first base role. We've seen Carmen Benedetti come into this relief role a number of times for the Wolverines, especially in his midweek games. He's maybe not the most trusted reliever when for some of those weekend series, but he's an arm that can get you through those midweek games. And Jeremy, what are you looking for out of Benedetti here today?
Well, pretty much the same thing that I was looking for last half inning out of Ogden. Just keep the game close again. I do believe it is Benedetti. We're still checking, not really able to see the number on the back from here yet. But for now, we are going to assume it's Benedetti. And regardless of who it is, I think the job still remains. You just got to keep it at a one-run deficit and allow your bats to get you back in the game. Last inning, they came close and not able to convert. But as long as you keep this game at a safe deficit, you're going to be able to do some decent things on the other side of the field with the best batting average in the Big Ten.
And Benedetti, the very versatile sophomore out of Grosse Pointe South, just a little bit up the road from here. He's listed as an infielder and outfielder, and as we mentioned, he's on the mound here. 6'2", 225 pounds, throws and bats left, also in the cleanup spot for the Wolverines here today, doing it all for the Wolverines. He's had a solid year, 289 ERA, 10 appearances, all in relief, all in non-conference games. He's pitched for 9 1/3 innings, giving up 5 runs, 3 of those earned, 14 strikeouts against 6 walks, so a solid strikeout to walk ratio there. He faced Brandon Hughes, who lays down a bunt but pulls it back and takes a strike. 0-1 as we get the bottom of the 7th underway here at Comerica Park. Benedetti working quickly. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. He was late on that fastball.
Hughes really wanted to take a big rip at that one there. Just a little bit behind.
Hughes, the 6'2", 204-pound freshman out of Sterling Heights, Michigan. 0-2 pitch. That one's a foul tip. Just gets away. And Hughes able to stay alive. Then perhaps Patrick had a chance to grab that one, but got that one all the way back to the screen. Just the way it sounded off the bat, I thought it was going to go right into the glove of catcher Patrick. Nonetheless, 0-2 pitch. Tries to float the curveball in there, but just missed a little too high. You got to be careful with those hanging breaking balls.
Well, he definitely left it hanging, but he left it hanging high enough that Hughes decided not to take a cut. Came in a little bit, maybe an inch or two above the letters.
And perhaps that's what you can do knowing you're facing someone like Hughes. 1-2 pitch is fouled up right towards us. Will not quite reach us. I was ready for that one. I was looking for a souvenir as well. Nonetheless, count remains 1-2. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, we are right on the first base side of home plate. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses high, now 2-2. Good patience shown here by Brandon Hughes as he levels the count at 2-2. Benedetti moving rapidly. 2-2 pitch. That one bounced up to home plate. And Hughes has worked the count full after falling behind 0-2.
And we'll see what Benedetti brings here with the full count. Gonna have to give something up a little bit over the plate at least to avoid giving Hughes a free bag.
Hughes will get set, waiting for the payoff pitch from Benedetti. Taking a long look into Kendall Petrick. He gets set. Payoff pitch. And that one misses low. Hughes will flip the bat, and he works a walk after falling behind 0-2. Great patience shown by the freshman. And he'll be on with a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
I believe we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Spartans here. It's going to be number 8, Justin Hovis, who is batting 0 coming into this game in 2 at-bats so far this season. So a big opportunity for Mr. Hovis here as he comes to the plate.
Justin Hovis, a junior infielder from Valencia, California, out of West Ranch High School. As Jeremy mentioned, getting a rare opportunity here. Lays down a potential bunt, but pulls it back. Mace was charging hard, trying to get the runner into scoring position with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
An interesting decision. Again, he's only had 2 at-bats so far this season. This will be the 3rd, but he is yet to record a hit.
And squares the bunt again, but pulls it back. Benedetti was missed with both of those, 2-0. And perhaps, do you think they maybe take the bunt signal off here and let him swing away?
I suppose you do. I'm not a fan of the bunt to begin with, but I'd let him swing away. He's going to bunt.
He bunts. That's fielded by Jusic. He'll flip over to Cronenworth covering second base. And he does his job. Hovis records the sacrifice and moves the runner out to second base with only one out here in the bottom of the seventh.
We'd also assume that he's a little bit stronger defensively. He's going to come out onto the field in the next half inning for the Spartans. So perhaps more of a strategic move defensively than offensively, but still Hovis able to get the bunt and advance the runner to second.
And a little bit stronger fielder than Corey Young, who's really struggled out there in the field. He hasn't been in the best position to make some diving stops on Wolverines hits. Those have been some of the hits that allowed them to even score their 2 runs in this game. Also made that crucial error last inning to extend it, but the Spartans were able to get out of a jam. Speaking of defense, Cam Gibson made an excellent play to throw home a nab Mays at the plate. That was in the top of the 5th inning. But the Wolverines had already added 2 runs, were hungry for more. But he recorded the out on the fly ball before throwing home to get Mazes by about 10 feet.
You could argue that's a big differential right now, seeing as the Wolverines are down a run. That could have very well been the run that kept this game tied.
Second pitch, Mitch is outside. And that will draw Patrick out of his crouch to come have a word with his young lefty. I'll also bring some of the more veteran infielders will saunter over. Mazes from third base. Cronenworth from second. Perhaps Cronenworth will give a few words of wisdom on pitching, as he is quite the pitcher himself. Nonetheless, 2-0 remains the count. A little bit of buzz showing from the first base stands, where the Spartans lead 3-2, and they're itching for it to add insurance run here.
Another meeting here.
I believe that's pitching coach Sean Kenny. Indeed it is. Back at Sting, right where he is on the third step of the third base dugout.
Gibson is going to get something good to hit regardless of how this meeting goes. Up 2-0 in the count. Runner on second with 1 out. A good scoring opportunity for the Spartans to add some insurance to their lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning as it becomes close to crunch time for the Wolverines.
And another pitcher warming up for the Wolverines in the bullpen. I believe that is freshman Brian Paul. Also, don't quote me on that one. Very difficult to see from here, but looks like it's number 6.
You nailed Ogden from back here earlier in the day, so I'll trust you on this one.
And we'll see a long discussion before home plate umpire comes out and breaks up that meeting. Kenny will head back to the dugout, and all the infielders will head back to their respective positions. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. They trail 3-2 here in the Clash of Comerica against the Michigan State Spartans. Gibson waiting for the 2-0 pitch. Benedetti takes a long look in, checks the runner at second base. Here's the 2-1-2 delivery, and that one misses low. Now 3-0. Do you think they just put him on here?
You got an open bag. I don't think Benedetti is going to leave anything out over the plate. Whether that means he leaves it far enough outside for a walk,
or just doesn't give him anything to hit. And he pours in for a strike. Gibson was taking all the way there. Fastball gets it in right at the knees. Good pitch there.
Good pitch on the inside part of the plate. But again, I don't think he's going to give him anything too juicy here with a free bag.
3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. He was going for that one. High cheese. And that levels the count at 3-2.
It looked like Cam Gibson thought that he could hit this ball over to the Bell Tire sign out in deep right field over the fence. But a big cut and a big miss makes the count full as Benedetti's worked his way back into this one.
Payoff pitch. He got him looking. What a strikeout by Benedetti. He worked himself all the way back from 3-0. Big strikeout, second out of the inning. And the runner remains at second base. That leaves it up to that'll be Krill stepping up to the plate. He's had some big hits. He's doubling his last 2 at-bats. And Benedetti will need to shut him down to prevent the Spartans from adding to their lead.
Boy, Benedetti coming back from down 3-0 in the count. Kendall Patrick, his catcher, is going to give him some big ups as he walks back to home plate and waits for Benedetti. The first pitch to Krill.
First pitch, that one misses high and outside.
Krill has definitely been the biggest offensive spark plug today for the Spartans with that 2-run double back in the bottom of the 5th inning, which is proving to be the differential right now as the Spartans maintain a 1-run lead. And he's looking to add some more on.
Benedetti really looking to work that outside part of the plate. 1-0 pitch. That's exactly where he puts it. Strike in the outside corner, 1-1. Krill has pulled both of those doubles into that right field corner, and that's where Slater's shading a little bit more, and especially the infield. Jusic just a few steps off the line at first base, and Cronenworth right sitting in the hole at second base. Bivens holding with the runner at second, or at least dancing behind him. Also attacking outside there is Benedetti. He misses 2-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Wolverines looking to keep the deficit at just 1. They trail 3-2 versus the Michigan State Spartans in the clash at Comerica. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one misses high. Patrick not liking what he's seeing, and he'll go out to have a word with Benedetti, the sophomore left-hander.
I think with how well Ryan Krill has hit today, I think it holds a little more true than it did in the last at-bat that you're going to keep the ball off of the plate. You do have an open base at first where you can put Krill if need be. And I think we found Benedetti last at-bat down in the count 3-0, now down 3-1. But I think here he's even more cautious than in the last.
The last one, he came back from 3 out. 3-1 pitch, that one's fouled off. And despite the favorable count for Krill, he was swinging defensively. Foul that one off, and that runs the count full.
Spoiled it back there, and that's going to leave it full. Good work by Benedetti there. Not afraid of Krill coming right at him with a little bit up and in, and Krill has to fight that one off.
Big situation here for the left-hander. Runner on second for the Spartans. Krill standing in there in lefty batter's box. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts by Carmen Benedetti. Get him out of the inning. Spartans unable to add an insurance run, and we head to the top of the 8th. Wolverines only trail by 1. They're looking to get right back into this one. What a performance by Carmen Benedetti coming in from the field to pitch. Impressive outing by the young left-hander.
Well, he didn't do himself any favors in those last 2 at-bats. Definitely let himself get behind in those counts, 3-0, 3-1. But definitely solid work by Benedetti. I kept inching that he would keep the ball off of the plate, but he came right back at Krill and really forced him to make some swings and knock a few back foul, work himself back into the count, and then beat him with the heater there. And, yeah, that's just some great work from Benedetti to really save himself from leaving himself down 3-0.
Yeah, big strikeouts out of Carmen Benedetti. That's number 15 and 16 on the year against only 4 walks. You got to like that strikeout to walk ratio, especially out of a young pitcher that really struggled in his limited pitching outings last year. And once again, Mockbee will step on the mound for the Spartans. He's been a shutdown arm for the Spartans all season long out of the bullpen, and he'll enter his 3rd work of relief.
Well, he put himself in some trouble last half inning, left a man on 3rd with 1 out, but Mazes did ground into that double play to get him out of trouble.
Now, to be fair to Mockbee, that wasn't really his fault. That was the now departed second baseman Corey Young, just unable to get the ball out of his glove. Should have been a routine grounder to get out of the inning. Instead, he was unable to get out of his glove, and Glines was able to reach on that error. And that left runners at the corners with only, or excuse me, it wouldn't have got him out of the inning, but it would have moved the runner to 3rd base with 2 outs. And then Travis Mays would have been hitting, but nonetheless, he was able to come back with a double play on the very next day. He's been replaced in the field by the pinch hitter.
That was Justin Hovis, who did lay down the sack bunt in his plate appearance last half inning. First pitch to Benedetti is a ball on the inside.
Benedetti just come fresh off those 2 strikeouts on the mound. Now he'll lift that one into left field. Gibson giving chase, and he will make the catch just by the left field line. Not the best of bats for Carmen Benedetti here in the top of the 8th inning.
Well, cut him a little slack after that last half inning that he just...
Yeah, perhaps a little bit too amped up, trying for the spectacular there, really looking for a pitch to drive, gets a little bit too much underneath it, and he'll loft that one in the air to left field. Easy out by Cam Gibson. First pitch misses, and that one hits. I thought that one was way outside.
That looked pretty outside to me as well, but nonetheless, a strike on Cody Bruder on the first pitch of the at-bat.
1-0 pitch. That one, 0-1 misses high, and that's now 1-1.
That one was definitely a ball. I think
if he had called that one a strike, I think we could have just walked out of here. That one violates even the nose-to-toes hitting abilities. That was right at his bill. 1-1 pitch. Checked his swing, did not go around. That one was close.
That was pretty close on the check swing from Bruder, but the appeal down to first base says that he did not go.
Maybe a little bit of the benefit of the doubt after that questionable call on the first pitch.
What could have very easily been 3-0.
Bruder swings and fouls it off his foot. Gives out a primal yell. Perhaps you guys heard that one on the broadcast. Really nicked himself pretty good there. His left foot, he'll examine it.
Well, as it gets colder outside, those start to sting more and more as you foul them off.
Jeremy, it's 56 degrees.
It's a little chilly.
I wouldn't exactly call it colder in here. This team has been playing in cold weather all year long.
Nonetheless, physiologically, when it's cold outside, it's going to sting a little bit more. It's not 70 degrees.
It's gone down from about 59 to 56.
But the wind has picked up. It's a little chillier.
So it's not even windy. Stop deceiving our listeners.
It's kind of cold. I'd put a coat on.
Nonetheless, count runs full. Big situation here for the Wolverines, trying to get a rally going here in the top of the 8th. They're facing Mockbee, the top reliever for the Spartans. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. And Bruder strikes out.
No, I believe they're going to say that was foul tip.
Foul tip. I was wondering why he wasn't headed back to the bullpen. He took a big cut there. But that one gets away. A little eager there. And Bruder will get a second chance. Bruder takes a few practice cuts, taps the plate, and gets ready in the right-handed batter's box. Payoff pitch once again. That one's lifted high in the air. And the center fielder, Checky, will settle underneath it and make the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 easy flyouts by the Wolverines. Mockbee settling right back into the groove he was in before he ran into that little bit of trouble on the error last inning. Nonetheless, picking up where he left off and looking to close out a 3rd straight scoreless inning of relief for the Spartans.
Mockbee with just a comfortable sway as the ball comes back into him from center field. And he looks about as at ease as he can be right now.
We'll leave up to Jake Bivens. Good breaking ball, but just misses. Bivens showing some good patience and a good eye at the plate there for such a young batter. Mockbee working quickly. Here's the 1-0 delivery. That one's in the dirt. 2-0. Bivens perhaps showing some patience, knowing that 2-out walks can mean trouble and get a rally brewing. 2-0, perhaps we'll have a pitch to hit here or watch another one go by as he looks for a walk. 2-0. That one misses way high, right at the bill of his cap. Quickly 3-0. I think he'll be taking this one all the way.
Absolutely. I don't think you even think about lifting the bat off your shoulder in this count.
He'll step that right foot out of the batter's box. Now dig back in. 3-0 pitch. And that one misses. 4-pitch walk with 2 outs. And right as we were mentioning Mockbee getting comfortable, he will give up a 4-pitch walk to Jake Bivens, who will scamper down to first base. And now Kyle Jusick will step in. Interesting that he's been noted back to announced as designated hitter. So I believe that means that Carmen Benedetti's day is done. He will transition back to first base. Kyle Jusick setting back in at designated hitter. We do see, I believe, only one Wolverine pitcher warming up there in the bullpen. As you mentioned, perhaps Brian Paul. Now a thrower to first base.
Action in both bullpens as we get later here.
And perhaps if Mockbee gives up another runner, we'll see a little more stirring in the Spartans bullpen. They only got one guy loosening out. No one throwing quite yet. Still waiting for the first pitch from Mockbee. He'll throw over again. Just a little flip over to first. Easily corralled by Krill, who doesn't even apply the tag.
Making sure that Bivens doesn't take much of a lead at all there.
Bivens does have some speed. He's 5 of 7 on the year. Here's the first pitch. Strike at the knees. Right through the heart of the plate.
And I think Jusic just wanted to see what he was going to get there for Mockbee, sort of judge the speed a little bit, get comfortable with what's going to come later in this at-bat.
0-1 pitch. Just kind of flings it in there for a strike. Once again, another one of those ones where he didn't really use his whole body, but he was able to get that one in there for a breaking ball. Quickly 0-2 on Kyle Jusic.
Looked like it was going to come pretty inside from the release out of his hand, but didn't really move a whole lot and confused Jusic, who didn't even take a swing at it.
Checks the runner. Here's the 0-2 delivery. That one draws the catcher out of his crouch. 1-2.
Jusic's still going to have to protect anything close to the plate here. Down in the count, 1-2.
Bivens takes his lead off first base. Here's the delivery. That one misses low. Close pitch there to take by Kyle Jusic.
I guess he thought that he was comfortable enough taking it and proves that he was right. So a good eye there from Jusic as he's back to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Wolverines trying to get a rally going. They trail 3-2 against the Michigan State Spartans. 2-2 pitch. That one misses low. Count runs full. High leverage pitch coming up for Mockbee. He will not be afraid of the situation. Neither will Kyle Jusic, the veteran left-handed hitter for the Wolverines.
Good work from Jusic. Was down in the count. Now has worked his way back full. He'll see something decent here.
Ross Kelly will come out of his crouch, run through the signs really quickly. Now comes set. 3-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Over into the upper deck down the third base side. Fans will be disappointed that one won't ricochet back in and provide a souvenir. I don't think anyone's willing to trot all the way up there. And
not a soul up in the upper level here at Comerica Park.
Can't say I'm surprised with a total of attendance right around, we'll give it 650. It's filled in a little bit. Here's the payoff pitch again, but first a throw over to first base. Bivens staying right where he is. Do you think there's any, Bivens will be off on the pitch, so just trying to shorten his lead a little bit. 3-2 pitch. That one's out. Outside. And another walk here by Mockbee, just as he was settling into a groove. 2 runners aboard for the Wolverines. A big hit would be necessary from Johnny Slater to try and tie this game.
Credit to Jusic for working the count and getting himself a base after falling behind with 2 strikes on him. Was able to keep that good eye looking for anything off of the plate and was able to catch enough that he got himself a free bag.
And Johnny Slater, he really struggled last year in his freshman year out of Southfield, Michigan. Has rebounded a little bit better this year. He's got 12 starts on the year. This is number 12, hitting .262. And we'll see a pinch runner come in for the Wolverines.
And also a mound visit, it appears.
Perhaps a new pitcher for the Spartans. Indeed, it will be as they open the bullpen door.
Everybody coming off the bases here.
Yeah, they'll give some time for the new pitcher to warm up. I believe, is that Hector Gutierrez that's coming in to pinch run?
We will be able to tell in a minute as he trots out from center field.
Well, Hector Gutierrez is the pinch runner for the Wolverines. We'll see who the new pitcher for the Spartans is. I believe that's
the pinch runner is Hector Gutierrez, 24.
And I believe the pitcher is, I can't quite tell who that is.
We will tell in just a moment.
Is that and that's Jeff Kinley. Yet another left-hander coming out of the bullpen for the Spartans. Kinley, 6'1", redshirt senior, the lefty out of Heritage High School in Saginaw, Michigan. Looking to get out of this jam created by Mockbee. Just like when Mockbee looked like he was going to get out of this 8th inning, he's walked the past 2 batters on full counts and left a potential jam. Wolverines looking to tie this game up with Johnny Slater at the dish.
Mockbee giving way to Kinley. Kinley coming in with a 2.53 ERA. He's 2-0 this season with 16 appearances. But the big glaring point on the stat line is that opponents are hitting 286 against Kinley this season as compared to Mockbee's 205 opponent batting average. So he definitely does give up a few more hits to his opponents. He's seen a little bit less work than Mockbee has as well, only pitching 21 and a third innings as opposed to Mockbee's 33.
And Johnny Slater has removed his helmet. He's back in the dugout. So we'll have a pinch hitter here. Unsure who that is. We see a number of Wolverines have grabbed a bat and are taking a few practice cuts. We're going to try
Kevin White.
That would be the logical choice.
I believe it's 22 on his back.
That makes sense for the 6-foot senior from Charlottesville, Virginia to come in. He didn't get the start as he is not known as the best of defensive hitters, but defense is not what's on the Wolverines' mind right now. They're looking to tie this game up. They trail 3-2 here at the Clash of Comerica against the Michigan State Spartans. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Andrew Hausman alongside Jeremy Parks. And it indeed is Kevin White. He'll pinch hit for Johnny Slater in that right field position in the number 8 spot in the lineup, looking for a big hit here to try and tie the game or even give the Wolverines the lead. Checks the runner at second base, now comes home. Fastball misses outside. That had some good life on it.
Just a quick note here, the Detroit Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead in the top of the 7th over in Pittsburgh off a Rajai Davis single, bringing Alex Avila around, and a low-scoring affair at PNC Park with the Tigers leading 1-0.
And count is 1-0 here by Jeff Kinley. 1-0. Fastball hits the inside corner. He really whips it in there, and the hardest thrower that the Wolverines have seen so far today out of the 3 lefties that they have faced. White digs back in to that right-handed batter's box. Bivens on second. Gutierrez on first. First pitch, swing and a miss. Excuse me, that was third pitch.
Big cut from Kevin White nonetheless. Brings the count to 1-2.
Trying for the spectacular there, trying to get the power alley in left center field. Big situation here for the Wolverines. Perhaps their last chance with a runner in scoring position this game. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. They trail by 1. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And Kinley's able to get the job done. He gets out of the jam. White is disappointed with himself, and he will sulk back to the dugout. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Wolverines trail 3-2. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Well, while we have a break between innings here, we would like to mention to you to subscribe to our YouTube channels, both WCBN Sports 1 and 2, for all of your Michigan Wolverines sports coverage. We mentioned previously a big group of games coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday series for both Michigan baseball and softball. Baseball facing off against Purdue for the 3-game set this weekend, as well as Michigan softball facing off against Indiana with a 3-game set across the yard at Alumni Field. And also tomorrow afternoon, Andrew will be back on the call for Michigan against Eastern Michigan. And what time is that first pitch?
4 p.m.
4 o'clock first pitch tomorrow, and that will be on WCBN Channel 1. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels and keep on listening to all of your favorite Wolverine sports, as we've done just about all of them this year.
Yeah, really expanding our coverage this year, going into football, basketball, hockey, baseball, softball, soccer,
Caught a water polo.
Lacrosse, water polo, any of your Michigan sports needs. And if you are looking for any other sports to be covered, don't be shy and let us know. Tweet at us at WCBN Sports. Let us know what sports you want to hear. We'd love to hear from you. Also, the daily sports report is weekdays, Monday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30 on WCBN. You can listen on WCBN.org or 88.3 on your dial in the local Ann Arbor area. So be sure to tune in to continue WCBN sports coverage. But as we turn back to this game, Wolverines are trailing 3-2. They turn to Brian Paul to try and keep this a one-run deficit. What do you make of this move, Jeremy?
Well, again, just trying to keep the arms as fresh as possible. One-run deficit for the Wolverines. Got to try and keep it as close as you possibly can. And they've continued to do that in the last 3 half innings. We saw out of each pitcher that's come in succession, they've kept it close within a run, and the offense has threatened each of their at-bats afterwards, and nothing doing, but they continue to keep it close. So the job is keep it close.
And Brian Paul looking to bounce back. He has been a revelation this year after giving up 1 run in that game in his first appearance of the year against Long Beach State, then went on a quite impressive streak. He had 10 straight scoreless outings where he did not allow a run, but his last 3, he's in a rough month of April. He did get the saves against both Central Michigan and in that Indiana series, but gave up a run in each of those. And then in this past weekend at Penn State in Happy Valley, he pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 earned runs on 2 hits. Also did record 2 strikeouts, so his power arm still lives, but looking to bounce back after giving up runs in 3 straight outings. Mark Weiss, the number 3 hitter for the Spartans, will dig in. Here's the first pitch. That one hits the corner. Quickly 0-1. Wolverines, 2 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Spartans, 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Paul. That one's lifted high in the air to left field, giving chase his Bruder. And that one will get down, fair ball, and that will be a ground rule double. That one will take 1 skip into the left field seats. And a leadoff double here by Mark Weiss, looking to add an insurance run for the Spartans.
And the Wolverines are lucky that that one got over the wall just to the left of the foul pole, because Weiss was coming around for third base before Bruder out in left field could even get to where the ball was. So a bit of a break nonetheless, despite the giving up the double to lead it off.
And now here's the big man, the DH, Blaze Salter. He's sitting in that cleanup spot today. He's been a little quiet today. Waiting for the first pitch from Paul. He delivers. That one's lifted high in the air to right field. That's where Kevin White is. He'll settle in there and make the catch. Tagging up and heading to third is Weiss, and he'll get in there without a throw. He moves to third with 1 out. Salter does his job, gets it over to the right side of the field. This is high in the air, and able to move the runner to third base with only 1 out.
Paul finds himself in a sticky situation, just a couple of pitches into this half inning with a runner on third and 1 out. And all it's going to take is a poke right into the outfield to give him an opportunity to tag up and increase this Spartan lead to 2.
And now we'll see a visit to the mound by pitching coach Sean Kenny. Bakich remaining right where he is on the third step of that Wolverines dugout. No action in the Wolverines bullpen right now, so you got to believe that Kenny's just going out to have a few words with his young right-hander. As I mentioned, he has not had his sharpest stuff in the month of April, and right off the bat, 2 pitches, and we see a runner standing on third base. So this is a crucial situation for the Wolverines. They've really been shut down here so far today by the Spartans pitchers, and they don't want to head to that 9th inning with more than 1 run to try and get back.
And it's going to be a tall order even with the 1-run deficit. So like we keep mentioning, ever since the Wolverines went down by a run in the bottom of the 5th inning, the goal has been to allow the pitching, or for the pitching to allow the offense the breathing space that it needs and just keep this deficit at 1 run. But it's going to be a struggle here for Paul.
So far they've done the job, but we've seen the Wolverines pitchers this game get out of this kind of jam with a runner at third base and less than 2 outs. The infield will be drawn in. They're standing right on those last few blades of grass. A little bit of dynamic instead of the usual turf at Ray Fisher Stadium. First pitch is in the dirt. Good block by Kendall Patrick to keep it in front of him.
A big bellowing rendition of Spartans, What Is Your Profession, coming with the first base side of Comerica Park, pulling for the Michigan State Spartans as they're looking to add insurance onto this 1-run lead.
1-0 pitch. That one's in the dirt as well. Paul perhaps pitching around Ryan Richardson.
It looked like it just a little bit. Again, you don't want to give him anything that he's able to get under and get into the outfield and allow for a tag up.
And that's why he's doing a good job keeping it low. Really would be big to get something on the ground here, infield right on the edge of that grass, as I mentioned earlier. 2-0 pitch. That one's high. Chin music there. And quickly 3-0 on Ryan Richardson.
Didn't really step back, just kind of turned his head into his inside shoulder. But that ball came dangerously close to the face of Ryan Richardson, who's already been plunked once in this game.
3-0 pitch. And that will get away. That one will bounce on the backstop, throw home, and there will be no play. That will get the run in. And a huge insurance run for the Spartans. Terrible play by Brian Paul. He just airmails it over Kendall Patrick. Nothing Patrick can do there. Patrick unable to play the rebound off the wall. I thought he was going to get that throw home, but unable to just get it out of his glove. Paul was covering, but too late. Mark Weiss comes in, and now the Spartans at a huge insurance lead run. They lead 4-2.
I think Paul intended to climb the ladder there, just got away from him and up over the head of Patrick, who couldn't rush to it at the backstop quick enough to make a play at home plate.
And now, well, with that 4-pitch walk, we'll see Richardson trot down to first. Still only one out here for the Spartans in the bottom of the 8th inning. Paul comes set.
Anthony Checky for the Spartans.
Swing and a miss, but that one gets away. And another pitch in the dirt. Just terrible lack of control by Brian Paul. And the Spartans fans are starting to show signs of life with their go green, go white chants echoing out on that first base line.
I thought Checky might have gotten a little piece of it to dig it under the legs of Patrick, but no, says the home plate umpire.
That one you got
pass ball.
That one you got to check up with the Patrick, as you mentioned with the pass ball. The other ones were Brian Paul's fault, and Patrick just did a good job to keep most of them in front of him. That one was just all Kendall Patrick's fault. That one's lifted right to the first baseman, and that's where he will record the out, but the runner will move up to third base. Cameron Benedetti has returned to his usual first base role after an excellent pitching outing last inning. That's the second out of the inning, and that will leave it up to Ross Kelly, the catcher. Try and add in perhaps one more insurance run for the Spartans. They currently lead the Michigan Wolverines 4-2. Mazes will scamper in and stand right at the edge of the infield grass, eyeing a potential bunt. First pitch. That one misses low. Another good block by Kendall Patrick. Brian Paul has been wild here, and we do see some action in the Wolverines bullpen. They rushed the pitcher down there to try and get someone going after Paul ran into trouble. 1-0 pitch. Strike.
Good movement on that one. And a good comeback pitch from Paul.
Paul looking to limit any further damage here. Keep the deficit at only 2. He comes set. Here's the 1-1 delivery. That one's popped foul on the first base side.
That'll get back.
And Spartans fans unable to make the catch. Count goes to 1-2. Gotta say, it's an interesting dynamic having fans from either side on either side of the ballpark.
It is, and we have seen some divided houses, it seems, with a little bit of mingling of Michigan and Michigan State fans throughout both the first and third base sides.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and a big strikeout there by Paul. He's able to get out of the damage he created, and he heads to the top of the 9th with no further damage, but a big insurance run added on by the Spartans. They get a leadoff ground rule double before 2 sacrifices do the job. Or excuse me, before a sacrifice and a wild pitch do the job to bring home the insurance run. Spartans lead 4-2. Jeremy, what can the Wolverines do to try and get these 2 runs back, tie the game, send it to extra innings?
Hit the ball. Hit the ball properly. I think properly has been the operative word all day. We continue to talk about getting on top of the ball and getting underneath the ball, and just a little bit of too much on either end and not enough solid contact. But we have seen the Wolverines take some good pitches, get themselves some easy bases with a few walks in the last couple half innings here, and look for them to take a few more as they try and get as many base runners as they possibly can on to try and get back into this game. But it is final call time for the Wolverines.
And Kinley will retake the mound for the Spartans after facing only one batter. He got that huge double play ball to end that, or excuse me, not the double play ball. We did get the ground out to end that last inning and get out of the jam, the mini jam that
it was a strikeout by it was a strikeout to end the last half inning by Kevin White.
Oh, you're right. I had the Travis Mazes one confused when Mockby had run into some trouble earlier, and then Travis Mazes got into the double play. Then this past inning, the Kevin White strikeout on the pinch hitter. So we'll see Kinley, and we'll see the number 9 hitter, Kendall Patrick, come to the plate. He had a very solid piece of hitting his last time up for the Wolverines. A very line single right up the middle, and that's exactly what the Wolverines are looking for here, just trying to get any runner on base as they try and do some damage. They need 2 runs here, so they can't play any small ball. They got to get some serious hits strung together here and try and level this game back up.
Kendall Patrick in his last at-bat did rip a good one right back up the middle into center field for a strong base hit. Look for that again.
Kendall Patrick takes the first one low, 1-0. Here's the second pitch. That was a strike right at the knees. Interesting delivery here by Kinley. Very kind of like a gunslinger, just kind of takes it and whips it towards the plate. Taking a long time. Now he comes home. 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled down the first base line. That'll ricochet off the mini scoreboard along the lining between the suites and the rest of the ballpark. 1-2.
Gonna have to protect against anything close here is Kendall Patrick.
1-2 pitch. That one's exactly what Dr. Jeremy ordered. Just stuck his bat out there. Was willing to do whatever it takes to get contact on that one. He knew he wasn't going to have to do anything with that one. So lives to see another day. Smart piece of hitting there.
Catcher Chad Ross Kelly was ready to pick that one up the second to touch the ground. Luckily foul for Kendall Patrick.
Count remains 1-2. Here's delivery from Kinley. That one's fouled right back towards us. Oh, just missed. I was ready for that one. I thought it was coming to me. I thought I was going to get a souvenir.
Not today, Andrew.
Maybe next time.
He has more foul balls to foul back here, though.
Another good piece of defensive hitting by Kendall Patrick. 1-2 pitch. That one's in the dirt. 2-2.
Good eye there by Patrick. Working the count here, fouling off anything that gets close and having a good eye on anything that isn't.
Redshirt senior finally getting some playing time this year after getting out behind the shadow of Cole Martin, the outstanding defensive catcher that graduated last year. 2-2 pitch. Just misses. Ross Kelly held that one for the extra beat. Thought he was going to get the called strikeout. Nonetheless, that runs the count full. Great patience by Kendall Patrick.
Patience, he's living on the edge there. We'll see what he does with the payoff pitch here.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and he got him. Strikeout looking after a great outing or a great plate appearance to work it back full. He takes a close one there, and that's the first out of the 9th inning for the Wolverines.
That strikeout pitch right in the same place as the one prior to it that was called a ball, just a little bit more to the inside part of the plate, and just enough for the home plate umpire to ring him up looking.
And now Jacob Cronenworth, who's had a very solid day at the plate as the number 1 batter, he'll step up as perhaps one of the Wolverines' final options here. They have only 2 outs left, and they need 2 runs. First pitch from Kinley. That's slung across the outside for a ball. 1-0.
Cronenworth has definitely taken some good cuts at the ball today, but it's down to crunch time now.
1-0 pitch. High strike right at the letters. Right across the heart of the plate, but very high pitch there. Spartans playing Cronenworth the pull, especially the infield. Krill's right along that first base line. 1-1 pitch. Good breaking ball there by Kinley. That makes it 1-2.
Cronenworth's going to find himself down in the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And this really is crunch time. We keep saying it, but growing ever closer to the finish.
1-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Good piece of defensive hitting there.
Just got a piece of it to bring it back to the backstop.
Jackson Glines waiting on deck. He's the potential tying run. But first, the Wolverines have to get Cronenworth on base. Right now, he's staring at a 1-2 count. Kinley comes set. Here's the 1-2 delivery. That one misses low and outside. 2-2.
Good eye from Cronenworth there. Working his way back into it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still going to have to protect against anything that's close to a strike here.
Can't go down looking like Kendall Patrick did in that last at-bat. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Kinley. That one's fouled off again on the third base side. That one will get into the club seats. Number of young fans will give chase to that one. Count remains 2-2. One out here in the top of the ninth. Wolverines trail against the Spartans in the Clash of Comerica 4-2. They need 2 runs here. They got 2 outs to do it. 2-2 pitch. That one's popped in the air. That's a blooper, and that one will get down, but a foul ball. What an effort there by Mark Wiest. He gave his all, unable to track that one down, and perhaps Cronenworth will be able to do something with a little bit of extra life.
Cronenworth is still alive, but boy, that would have been a web gem from Wiest were he to make that catch. Laid out with the full extension as that ball tailed just a couple feet off the foul line on the third base side.
Count 2-2 still on Cronenworth. Wolverines have shown patience against Kinley, but so far have nothing to show for it. 2-2 pitch. That one's ripped to left field, and that one will not get down. Ryan Richardson makes the catch. It looked like it was going to fall between Richardson and Gibson, but nonetheless, good running play there by Richardson. That's the second out. Glines is the last hope for the Wolverines. Just needs to get on base. They trail by 2. He will take into the left-handed batter's box, take a few practice cuts. Spartans will shade him to pull, so they'll move a few. All fielders will move a few steps towards right field. Here's the first pitch. Strike on the outside corner. 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth. Wolverines looking to mount a 2-out rally. Travis Mays is standing on deck, itching for a turn at the plate. 0-1 pitch. Another fastball strike in the outside corner. 0-2.
The scoreboard incorrectly labeled 1-1. I do believe it is 0-2.
Wolverines down to their final strike here. Kinley comes set. The 0-2 pitch just misses. Spartans thought they had that game won, but that one was a little bit high and outside.
Glines,
scoreboard shows 2-1, but it is 1-2.
Glines thought about it, decided not to take a cut.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Kinley. That one's popped in the air. That should do it. Richardson will settle underneath it. He'll make the catch. And that is all here from the Clash of Comerica. Wolverines fall 4-2. Disappointing loss here. They were able to bounce back right at the Spartans. Took that first lead of the game. They were able to come back with 2 runs. But right after that, the Wolverines bounced back with 2 more and then added an insurance run in the bottom of the 8th. And the Wolverines fall here at Comerica. Jeremy, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I think it was a hard-fought game. It eventually came down to the relief pitching of Mockbee and Kinley, really not allowing the Wolverines to fight their way back into this game. They had some opportunities, a couple unfortunate, a double play ball, and a throw out at home plate really squandered some opportunities for Michigan tonight. But at the end of the day, I think the Spartans pitched a superior game, and they found the holes when they needed to on the offensive side of things. And that's why they're going home with a victory tonight.
Evan Hill with his second start returning from injury. What do you make of his performance? He did have a really solid outing before giving up those 3 runs and ultimately will take the loss in this game. What do you make of Evan Hill's progress as he still fights back from that knee injury?
I think you've really got to be encouraged by it. He pitched more innings today than he has almost all season. Pitched a full 5 today. He'd only gone 5 1/3 prior to. Showed he had a lot of command over both his fastball and his breaking balls. His whole repertoire was working really well up until the bottom of the 4th inning when he gave up the first run, and then bottom of the 5th inning, he was tagged by Krill for a 2-run double, and that was the difference in this game. But I think if you're the Michigan Wolverines, you got to think that Evan Hill had a strong performance coming off of the injury, and it didn't look like the knee was affecting him whatsoever. So, again, I think it is encouraging that he performed as well as he did tonight.
And so I want to know what your thoughts were. I pick out a standout hitter from both sides of both the Spartans and the Wolverines. Who do you think really got the job done at the plate?
I think it didn't necessarily show on the scoreboard, but I think Cronenworth took some of the best cuts that I saw tonight. Sadly, in the last half inning there, he almost had a bloop single, but he did take some really good cuts all day today, made solid contact with the ball when most of his teammates were getting under it on top of it too much. And then I think there's no doubt on the Spartan side of the ball, it was the big first baseman, Ryan Krill, with that big 2-run double and a couple other hits to boot in the game today was really the offensive spark plug that the Spartans needed to get past the Wolverines here tonight.
And that will pretty much wrap up our coverage from Comerica Park, the Classic Comerica. Once again, the final score, Spartans 4, Wolverines 2. Both teams with 8 hits. Spartans also with an error. And we just want to remind you one last time of our upcoming broadcast. We will have Michigan baseball as they take on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. That game's at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Myself alongside Eli Sherman will be on that call. Be sure to tune into that midweek non-conference game as the Wolverines try and get back in the win column. Also, as we mentioned earlier, big 3-game series for both Michigan baseball and Michigan softball. We'll have both those series covered here on WCBN Sports. The Wolverines facing off against Purdue in terms of men's baseball and against Indiana Hoosiers in women's softball. We have those games covered. Be sure to listen in to this upcoming exciting weekend and tomorrow's game from the Will Pond Complex, both Alumni Field and Ray Fisher Stadium. That's going to do it for our coverage from Comerica Park. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Andrew Hausman saying goodnight for Jeremy Parks. Good night and go blue.